Okay, here we go. Welcome to a special election episode. I don't know why the thing was acting up for a minute, but we're here. That's the theme song to Trey Love off the first album, JLE Experience. On the music copyright. Don't mute on Facebook. I'm your host, author, musician, journalist, all that JLE. Figure get on here. It's election night. One of the most important elections. The last three has been very important. This is the second go around to see can a woman become the first president ever. And we have former President Trump saying, can he get back in? As it stands so far, electoral vote, VP Harris has 81. Former President Trump has 154. The West Coast ain't closed out yet, so they're waiting for a lot of those states polls to close. Some of the battleground states on the East Coast and Midwest have closed, but they got counted. And every vote will be counted to make sure no funny stuff. So this is amazing. Well, nice in history. So how y'all feeling out here about this? Make sure I ain't interrupted by that. Let me check Facebook, cut this on. Wow. Some people I know be posting crazy. But how y'all feeling on this day? Some people had a day off. Some people didn't. Let's see. I felt it was my journalistic duty to get on here and just talk about it. I mean, I already voted. Thanks to the beautiful absentee ballot. It's a beautiful thing, you know. I voted last month, as I did an episode about over the weekend, my birthday. I mean, messaging for me as a voter, saying some stuff, but not really saying a lot that I agree with, so I voted for me. Now, I did see later on, as we got closer to it, both camps did start tailoring their messaging better to some of the issues and things going on that people really care about that wasn't being done at first, in my opinion. But we're going to see. I mean, some argue VP Harris is the most decorated ever, just like former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was most qualified ever at the time. Some people feel former President Trump's not qualified. Some that back him believe everything was good under his 4 years. So now we're going to see who's right. And that's that is a big question. Who's right? Now, definitely in some states and counties, we're seeing some of the trends come different. I mean, if you watch some YouTube information or other places, a lot of things go into why people didn't vote for her. Some might feel, well, you got male chauvinists, don't believe a woman should ever be in control. She ain't really done enough. Well, they don't think she did anything at all as a VP to show what she did as president. Then you got people on the other side. They look at former President Trump. You incited the attack on the Capitol. Some of your people don't like others that don't look like them. But then you have some that are conservative. They believe he speaks from a more spiritual basis, even though his actions don't come off that way. But the messaging is more of a spiritual background of what's missing in this country. So a lot of people get behind that. Some people feel the Democratic Party lost its way and are too liberal with some groups and some things. And posing arguments, as well as America, you can believe what you want to believe, and you had a right to vote for what you think. Now, another group, the women group, we're going to see how big of an impact they make with their voting because of they feel women rights and reproductive rights is being attacked. They just had a right to do whatever they want to do with their body. So we will see, because normal numbers say that the elderly, women, and other groups vote midterms, primaries, and presidential elections. So we're going to see how big is the uptick after this election. Now, give it on them. Have they got better system in place to count every vote? We could have a president call tonight or tomorrow. Because they got to count, everybody's counting every vote. I mean, a lot of people have gotten out. They don't want nobody harassing the people that's counting or that were voting. They don't want nobody agitating nothing. Let them do their job so they can see who won. And this goes back to the 2020 election where those thoughts are being thrown out there that it was rigged, it was stolen. So it took till that weekend because they counted every vote. And due to COVID at that time, more people voted, 100 million by, to be exact, absentee. And a lot of states didn't have a real policy for counting absentee ballots. So maybe this time around, they have a better system to count all those votes first and then get all the walk-ins on Tuesday. So hopefully it can be tonight or late into the hours of the night that they did count everything. But they're going to make sure before they send all the stuff by each state saying we approve and send it up to the VP and them to verify who won. Every vote get counted. And that might be the thing going forward to make sure every vote is counted. So no one screaming, it was rigged. It's a wrestling storyline. They cheated me. And that's the narrative being put out there. And nobody wants that narrative. You know, and good luck to each sad person. And whoever wins, you know, hey, tip your hat to them. Keep it moving. Don't need to be no WrestleMania fights and all that because so-and-so won or didn't win. There's too much going on in the world to be doing all that. Way too much going on in the world for that. I've been keeping up with a lot of election coverage. A lot of different sites. See what they're talking about. Oh, and I got to update again because like Trump got another state. I'm looking at CNN to kind of like verify a lot of it too. Their website. Because one site, 538, got him at 162, but they still got him at 154. So, but so far, that's impressive. For Harris, they got 30 million people have voted for her, 486,265 votes, and 34,102,141 votes for Trump. Like, wow, that's impressive. That's just over, and that's not really everybody in the country. So people have been voting. And we need to do that even on the local level. Like I was speaking to people earlier, I'm like, you know, the last 3 elections have been the grandparent wars, as I called it. We need the younger people to step their game up, but it do matter who you vote at the local and federal levels because they go to Washington. We cannot have another election where the grandparents are running for president. What are the best and brightest in their 40s with some ideas? What the hell? Come on, man. We gotta do better than this. You can't just be the grandparents, man. 2000, we had Clinton, Trump. In 2016, former Secretary Hillary Clinton, business mogul Trump. 2020, former Vice President Biden. At the time, incumbent President Trump. Now we got incumbent Vice President Harris, former President Trump. Come on, man. yeah, we need some better people, man. I mean, Obama lied to me with all that. Are we going to try to coach up the next generation? Because I ain't seen no young people that were running that really was talking something on either side. And that's the true issue. We need some better candidates. And you can't be too liberal. You can't be too conservative. You have to be in the center. You have to see all people issues and find solutions that accommodate everybody. That's how America's supposed to work. And that's like the biggest issue watching this presidential situation so far. Has been that, like, I mean, if you're a liberal, they give you the house, the car, and the gas money. And if you need it, you need help, I understand that. But it do need to be a cutoff point. Are you able-bodied? Are you looking for work, looking to get off your feet? But then on the conservative side, put yourself up by bootstrap. You ain't got no boots. Like, that don't work. I mean, there got to be some balance. And if you're someone who was working, got laid off, you've been paying your taxes, you should get more grace and help than anybody, in my opinion, because you have been playing by the rules. So you can regroup and get back out there. And it can't be we over helping people. Like issues I looked at, letting too many illegal people come in this country and over helping them. You gotta be American. I get you. I get where you come from. Got problems. I sympathize, but you need to be American. They should be getting help quicker than someone that's not American. I mean, we had some pretty bad storms in the South, and y'all saying y'all barely have money for them. That don't compute. Nah. But you got money for people that's not American. That don't sound right. Fix that. That don't even make no sense. And whether people went to help for optics or whatever, we should have been on the spot to help. That's one thing I do credit Obama was good at. And mostly President Biden. Government's on the spot to help with the issues. Even under Trump, you saw stuff happen. They would help the state. That need to be the mandate. You're an American citizen, you need to get help. I mean, we got so much crap going on in the world. Reproductive rights should not be a conversation, in my opinion. I mean, what are we doing? It is not 1950. Why are we giving money to Ukraine every time they come over here begging for money? And we got issues over here. Now, people argue, well, you got to deal with the world. I get the world, but we got problems here too. And given that we offered an advance to help that country, he said he got it. I really feel like he got it. Leave him alone. Go deal with Russia on your own. You got this, home skillet. Stop coming over here in the wee hours of the night. Hey, can I get another billion? No. Stop printing money for them and print money for American citizens who got some issues and need help with. That's what we need. I mean, I shouldn't see campaign ads where it seems like after COVID, a lot of companies been price gouging on every aspect of living with nobody said, hey, cut that out. But in the last 2 weeks, I can't watch none on YouTube without seeing a commercial. I'm going to go after the people, price gouging with food, price gouging with gas. They've been doing this. Where were you at? Now you coming after them? You should have been did that. Come on now. What are we talking about? I'm watching the same thing you watching. You go get some eggs, they almost $5. Some state, $7. Now, unless you start telling me there's some shortages, I get if you coming from China somewhere, but we moving this from Michigan to Ohio. Don't tell me that's going to make you raise the price. Come on now. Cut that out. That don't even make no sense. You ain't shipping that from another country and stuff high. Milk and eggs, for example. Cut it. Right now, he's leading Georgia. Now, that's going to be huge. I know old girl, she worked real hard to turn Georgia blue last time. That's going to be kind of tough. Okay, so they upped it now too that he got 162. Change that a little bit. I thought it'd been closer right now though. I really did. I mean, it reminds me George W. and John Kerry. Well, earlier tonight, it was looking like that. Then it got a little closer. So we're going to see what it started looking like after 11. I'm going to be on here. But I felt compelled as a journalist, this is history making, I need to be on here talking about it. You know, it made no sense not to be on here and not talk about it. And more votes coming in, more people. Now, I'm watching CNN.com. On news I'm watching.
A plurality, nearly half of Nevada voters say, 48% say it was worse than 4 years ago. It was worse today than it was 4 years ago. Only 22% say it's better than 4 years ago. 29%
so Nevada did a poll. How was it? And most of them said it was worse than it was last 4 years ago.
54%, a majority in Nevada, side with the Harris position on this, offered a chance at legal status. 42% in Nevada side with
Harris leading Iowa. That's impressive.
Deported. Abortion, should it be mostly legal or illegal? 68% of Nevada voters, nearly 7 in 10, say abortion should be mostly legal.
Trump leading in Kansas.
Should be illegal. And Biden's job approval rating is at 40% in Nevada.
Ooh.
59% disapprove. That is about where it is.
59% disapprove of President Biden. Good job.
Ooh. Thanks so much. Let's go to John King at the Metro.
In Nevada. Ooh, Lord.
Well, Jake, we're starting to watch now as we go further west. We have more states coming in. Some of the states we talked about earlier that we thought were aberration.
Oh, Harris win in Michigan.
Right
Okay.
now, including Kansas. Kansas has gone back to being a Republican state. We expect it will.
Well, they both kept coming here for a minute.
Democratic pockets of support here. They're mostly in the eastern part of the state.
Trump is leading Minnesota. Not shocked by that. A big lead too. Not really shocked by Minnesota.
We expect Kansas will be a red state at the end of the night, but we'll keep an eye on that to see.
Yeah, Mississippi, Trump.
Here's the one that's interesting, and it's staying interesting, but we're
Not
only at
shocking.
41% of the vote. Iowa, which again has
Yeah, that's shocking.
paid much attention to since Barack Obama.
She pulled out that one. That's a nice move on her part.
Twice. The Harris lead is shrinking a little bit, but she's still ahead in Iowa, 51% to 48%.
That's impressive that she lead though. It's Iowa.
In Polk County, we're still there.
Very conservative state.
Your Democratic votes. You start moving down. You come over here to Cedar Rapids, which is Lynn County. You're only at 34%.
A lot of people know did trucking go out that way.
In terms of Democratic votes for the vice president, and what is an interesting state. If this one is competitive, it would be a surprise. And election night surprises are always interesting. You see their Dubuque County there. We'll see how that one plays out.
Are they getting ready to do a projection for another spot?
Again, if you're in the Harris campaign, especially because we're not done by any means. But if North Carolina and Georgia, Trump's ahead there, then you'd rather be the candidate ahead in the blue wall states.
Nah, that's going to be a minute before they call it.
34%, a little more than a third of the vote counted in Wisconsin. Again, you see Trump filling in the rural areas.
Harris got some good in Wisconsin. That's impressive.
Green Bay, blue-collar workers. Kamala Harris is not going to win Brown County. The question is, can she compete? When Joe Biden won the state, you see she's at 33%. We're only at 12%, so we have to do this a little bit later. But Joe Biden had 45%.
Yeah, she losing that one badly.
Key test of white blue-collar workers. Can the vice president of the United States
about messaging
close to where the president was? At the moment, she is not, but it's very early in the count right there. Again, the foundation of any Democratic victory is down here in Milwaukee. We're almost at half the vote right there. She's at 67% there. Let's just go back in time and look. The president was at 69%. Sounds like not a big deal. 67, 69. Let's see. Right now, we're only at 48% of the vote.
That's holding.
She's underperforming the president in Milwaukee by a couple points. That can make the difference.
So far.
Jake, that in 2 elections in a row has been decided by 20,000 votes. Jake?
That's right, John. And we're just moments away from another round of poll closings. Voting is about to end in 3 states, including the key battleground of Nevada. A total of 16 electoral votes.
Nevada, okay.
Online right now. And CNN can project that Donald Trump will win the state of Montana.
Trump got Montana?
Montana with its 4 electoral votes. CNN can also project that Donald Trump will win the state
and they got Utah.
As expected, Utah with its 6 electoral votes. Nevada is too early to call a battleground state.
Okay, I got to switch the changes up now.
Elections, but it's making a big
go to banners. Got to update it.
Let's look at the electoral math right now. Donald Trump has 172 electoral votes. Kamala Harris with 81 electoral votes, 270 electoral votes needed to win. Neither of them is there yet. Let's look at the key races now. Pennsylvania, Kamala Harris, 49.9% of the vote. Donald Trump has narrowed her 20,000 plus vote lead.
This is getting interesting, folks.
49.2% of the vote. More votes have come in from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 43% of the estimated vote.
Pennsylvania's close.
Right now is an 18,000 plus vote lead there.
She might take Michigan.
In Michigan, 51.6% of the vote. Donald Trump has 46.5% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 46,000 plus vote.
So we ain't got a million people that voted yet in Michigan.
6% of the estimated vote in Michigan has been counted. In battleground Wisconsin,
I know a million plus had to vote this time around.
8% of the vote. Donald Trump is at 48.4% of the vote. She has a 15,000 plus vote lead. That's with more than a third, 35% of the vote.
But no matter who wins,
in battleground North Carolina, Donald Trump maintaining his
history will look at this as
Kamala Harris is 46.8% of the vote.
they will look at it as the COVID election. Because last time I was watching, I believe it was Morning Joe, and they kept saying that on election night it's gonna look like Trump won. But 100 million people voted absentee earlier, and they got to count all those votes. So by Saturday, and they said most of them were voting for Biden, which they wind up doing. It's going to switch, and by Saturday, it's going to call Biden as president. And he kept saying it, and like people going to think it's rigged, it's less, but that's 100 million votes they got to count. Due to COVID, people don't want to go to polls. So now we're seeing what the numbers are that people are not going to the polls. You know, there's no COVID, so you can go to the polls if you want. Still do absentee if you want. And that's going to be the biggest factor. Do more people go vote absentee or people going to the polls? Let's be real. My black people, we don't go vote all the time. And we ain't really rocking with you. We ain't voting for you. We're not. And going out, whoever win, that demographic of men, women, or what race voted will be very key and interesting to know who voted. Because this is Trump leading North Carolina. This is interesting. This is quite interesting. Now, I mean, both camps looking at the numbers. Both of them probably saying too early to call, don't trip, relax. Still got many other states. It's 538 total electoral votes. He has 172. He don't have 270. No time to panic. Give it time. I mean, I know as a voter, I would say on either side messaging. I mean, the best one I did watch was the VP debate. That's what our democracy used to be. This is our domestic foreign policy plans. This is why we disagree, respectfully. All the pandering, you bringing out all of these rappers and female rappers. You call it controversial, whatever you want to call it. I have an issue. You got all these rappers and singers out here. And maybe back in the day, that probably will persuade you as a voter. Maybe because I'm 46 and I'm a grown adult. I don't care what Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla, whoever got to say. They don't dictate what I need to vote for. Your policy talk will dictate what I want to hear. I don't care if you got Hulk Hogan at a Trump rally talking. I mean, I was a honky man as a kid, but you don't do nothing for me. I mean, it's probably cool when I was younger, you know, oh, this The Rock, so-and-so. I'm Stone Cold, but no, I'm a grown-up. Taking care of stuff in life. I need to hear what your policies are and how those policies affect how I can move and navigate and take care of my home. I don't care who you know. Just don't need to be head of state. You know, I'm the vice president. I'm Sharon Stone's cousin. Vote for me. I don't hear all that type of talk. What's your policies? You know, when Chris Rock said, that ain't right, you work somewhere you can't afford to stay there. That ain't right. I want to hear more of that. What you trying to change? What you trying to fix? And it really wasn't until like the last 2 weeks on both sides you would start hearing more, well, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix. That's what you should have been saying from day one. What you going to fix? I don't care about these famous people you bring out here. And I don't care about a former President Obama trying to fold his arms saying, how dare black men don't vote for her? You ain't nobody daddy to tell them who to vote for. That was the wrong move to make. We're going to see how bad a wrong move that was as this plays out. A lot of black men were offended by that. You don't do that. You ain't nobody daddy. And your wife ain't nobody mama. I mean, we like y'all, but that don't give you carte blanche to say, well, I need to tell you what you're supposed to do for your house. Y'all got money up the ass. Y'all good. There's people out here trying to make ends meet, take care of their families. Y'all ain't sending them checks to their home to help them. Now, if y'all gonna take $3 million of y'all net worth and say we're gonna cash up all the American families, okay. Now you can fold your arms and talk a little bit because you actually put in on helping their households, but y'all ain't doing nothing like that. So to have the little finger pointing, you better what? We some grown ass people out here. Who you talking to? Who do I talk to you like that? That was the most damaging thing done on behalf of the Harris campaign, in my opinion. Because you already said that now we're saying black men wasn't rocking with her. And you do that? What the hell? Who told you that was a good idea to get on TV and say that? Who was running these campaigns? Come on now. I mean, historians got to be sitting back like, yeah, when we do the documentaries, this actually happened. But Jeff, you're lying. No, this happened. On this day and time, this went out through our social media that this was said. And a lot of content creators I noticed on social media or YouTube talked about it. I mean, Anton Daniels, he from the D. Shout out to him. He do a lot of great stuff. he was going the hardest with his content about the election. I'm like, nah. He wouldn't hold you up. I mean, he's a Trump supporter, but he was giving you his reasons why. All these other people that were Harris supporters, and they was giving a reason why. So I had to go find other people. Okay, so this is why they rock with him. Because they messaging wasn't the same. That's the crazy part. So I look at this one overall, looking back. Who y'all campaign managers? Because the messaging wasn't there. Now, granted, for my black people, it should not be, well, Trump a thug, he got all these court cases, he got ops. Like, come on, man. That should not be why we voted for somebody. We got to get away from this street stuff as being a badge of honor. We are intellectual, smart people. It can't always be about we out here in these streets thugging. And that appealed to us. He got ops. What? Come on, man. I mean, that's not a good look on the viewpoint of being down or being black. You know, you can be smart, not be in the streets, but you can understand the streets. I mean, I'm an everybody had street sense. Coming up in Detroit in the 80s and 90s, you saw the residue of the BMF and all them other people out and doing them things. So you couldn't just be a bookworm nerd and not pay attention to your surroundings. You had to know when the scene don't look right, it's time to dip. You can't be so green not to realize this crew just came in and they start throwing gang signs. We got to lead this game now. Because if you green not paying attention, well, I don't understand what's going on. It's about to be a gang beef. They about to start shooting. We got to go. If you paying attention, they mean mugging this crew. They reach you. We got to go. So you can be a nerd and still have street sense. It's a real thing. All nerds are not Urkel. That was just a stream they made for a TV show. There's some cool ass nerds out here that are some good people. can adapt to any environment, chop it up with anybody. And it makes sense. Man, you gotta be street with everything. And I got across the screen ticker tape so far. Need 270 electoral votes to win. So far, these the stats. VP Harris, 81. Former President Trump, 172. Now, some people might be having parties tonight watching it. They watch their loved ones, see what's going on. As a journalist, I felt compelled. I need to be talking about this. This is world-shattering news. Just like when President Biden announced he wasn't running, I need to do a show. And they're even showing now how in 2020, how things were looking. And a lot of these numbers are going to be different once they break it down. There's a lot of numbers with Trump and Biden in 2020 compared to this one. That was after the residue of COVID. In my honest opinion, if we didn't have COVID, I think Trump would have got reelected. Because Obama fixed the economy, and that's the economy that Trump had. We wouldn't have had a COVID situation. I could have had my graduation party. There wouldn't have been too much Biden to say, you need to change. But you throw in a pandemic, you don't feel like Trump at the time, President Trump time, was really on top of it. Well, he knows how to do basic governing, so put someone in that can get the ball rolling to get us through this time. So we can go back outside. And the key, 100 million absentee votes. So you didn't have to worry about standing in lines. They sent all the absentee ballots out to everybody. And 100 million people did and turned it in. You don't have that this time around. Just straight up who going to the polls, who may have chose absentee. Now we got another projection. Colorado goes to Harris. That's 10 points for her. And Mississippi goes to Trump. That's 6 for him. So we got to do another update. She made it to 91. He made it to 78. Yep. And repost. Make sure I try to keep this up to date with the numbers. So if you just pop your head into my live, there's live election coverage. My take on it. Who knows? Some people might want to chime in at some point. Cool. Just felt I need to be up here talking about this thing. Right now, Trump is winning Pennsylvania. He lost it last year. He lost Georgia. He winning right now. So those are key. So these are more the, and Harris, she's still winning Michigan. So these looking like more traditional numbers. Ooh. I would say probably when they do the total of who voted absentee across the country, I don't think it'll be 100 million this time around. I think it might be more. I'll say maybe 75 million may have voted absentee. Or 50 to 75 million, somewhere in there. Not 100 million people. No. The people voted so far, Trump at 42 million, 493, 38,597 votes. Harris is at 37,499,193 votes. So it might not be as wild as it was last time around with the numbers. And they listen in on what they try to explain on CNN on why the numbers are going where they're going right now.
It's a very narrow lead still.
You still come out, it's a very, very narrow lead. But again, so you're looking, this was a 10-point race.
CNN.com.
So if you're seeing, even if Harris wins it, if it's closer, does that tell you have a more competitive environment elsewhere? Or does it tell you Donald Trump's doing well in one state? Sometimes there's that. It has a Republican governor since the last presidential election. So you have to be careful about these things. So let's just see what's still out there. This margin is going to change. I mean, there's some Republican votes down here, but there's plenty of opportunity for that tie, slight Harris lead, to turn into something else. It's the surprise of the night so far.
And that's Virginia, where she's up 49.1%.
Back in 20 minutes ago, and see how we're doing.
Towards 49.0.
Mr. Chapman's home state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, just flipped red. Remember earlier I was saying the 3 blue wall states had stayed blue throughout the night. We're not nowhere near the end. We are nowhere near the end. We're at 51% right there. But you see that. So here we go. Battleground Pennsylvania. Again,
and Trump is winning that right now.
He wasn't. She was leading.
Yes.
John, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have an update on the outstanding vote in Georgia. If you want to bring Georgia and Gwinnett County, Victor Blackwell's at the Gwinnett County Election Center in the Atlanta suburb of Lawrenceville. Victor, what are you hearing about the vote count there?
Well, Jake, I have the supervisor of elections for
Nebraska close.
Zach Manifold. Thank you for a few minutes here. We've been told that there is a large tranche of votes that's soon going to be reported. How many and how soon?
Yeah, we're just working with the state to go
over.
We have the state, so they're just going through it, and it should be up here in a few minutes. So, yeah, about 320,000 advanced and in person and absentee.
Key battleground states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
I don't know.
Too early to call.
So they'll review it and then they'll tell us when to push those results.
And can you simplify what in the adjudication process held up these votes for hours?
Yeah, it was just the images loading slow. I'm not sure what caused that to happen. It usually
imaging. So technology got to get better.
Kind of excruciatingly slow.
It's 24. We need way better technology.
Moving forward and getting out.
That can count votes quicker.
This is also a problem that happened in 2020, though, was it not?
I don't know. I was not here in 2020, so I'm not sure. I know they had issues similar, but I'm not sure.
So this has now been resolved. We should not expect this to be a problem with adjudicating ballots moving forward.
No, you shouldn't see this with the election day. And we actually do have all 156 precincts, the locations, their memory cards are in the office now. So we've got everybody back. They're actually going to start running those memory cards down.
So after those 323, it should move pretty quickly?
Yeah. We're expecting it to pick up.
Zach Manifold, Supervisor of Elections here in Gwinnett County. I'll send it back to you, Jake.
Thanks, Victor. Let's get more on Georgia from Sarah Murray, who's at the Fulton County Elections Hub outside Atlanta. Sarah, what are you hearing about the outstanding votes there?
Well, Jake, for all the flack that Fulton County gets,
there's a difference of millions of 100-some thousand votes
very steadily
with the
here
lead.
Tonight, they've had these
Trump got
reports coming in. They're uploading the day of election vote, and they're hoping in Fulton County to be able to upload all of their day of voting by 11 p.m. Now, there is another large county where things are going a little bit slower, kind of like Gwinnett, DeKalb County. I spoke to them a little bit ago. They said they don't have a number of what their overall election day count was, and they're not sure how long it's going to take for them to get through it. They're just chugging through it little by little. Now, in Cobb County, another large county here in Georgia, they said they still had less than 1,000 absentee mail-in ballots that they had to get through, and they also had 85,000 votes. That was their day of votes that they were turning to. They were hoping to be done by 11 p.m.
My numbers might be too high.
Last county I talked to is Clayton County. They were also working through their day of voting. They had hoped to have it done by 10 p.m. It looks like they're missing that deadline a little bit, but they were definitely saying they only had a handful of precincts left, about 13 precincts when I talked to them about a half an hour ago, that they were still trying to upload the day of voting for. So things seem to be
a lot of people probably didn't vote this
smoothly.
time around.
And behind me, you get a little bit of a sense of the process. This is where the memory cards came through. They just brought them through. They checked them in. Here with a police officer, they get scanned in, and then over in this glass room we're showing you, this is where these memory cards are removed. We start to see them uploaded. So that's what's happening here in Fulton County, and hopefully we'll have more for you around 11.
Lori reporting on the count. If you look around the Atlanta suburbs, as she's noted, she's in Fulton County, which is here. But this is where the big outstanding vote is. So let's just come back statewide first to put it into context. The Trump lead now 170,000 votes. It was over 200,000.
107,000 votes he leading
So it has
in
come
Georgia.
down some as more votes come in. So let's just walk through what we just heard real quickly. Fulton County, you're at 84%, but this is the number one population center, the largest population center of the state, also a hugely Democratic area of the state. That's where we're waiting for votes. Also, Gwinnett County, number 2 in terms of the population, plus the other counties right around Atlanta. Any path to a Democratic victory, Jake, has to come there. So when we get more of those votes, we'll be able
to it's mainly red.
Closer to being able to answer the question. Is that lead that Donald Trump has safe, or are there enough votes out there for the vice president not only to catch up, but to pass?
All right, John, thanks so much. We have another projection. CNN can project that Donald Trump will win the state of Ohio.
Ohio.
As expected will go to Donald Trump. Ohio with its 17 electoral votes. What does that mean for the electoral count map? Donald Trump has 195 electoral votes.
I'm shocked by that one.
New Mexico and Arizona starting to come into the map. We haven't touched this one all night. Let's take a quick look out there in Arizona. I haven't said Maricopa County on election night, and it's 10:24. That's an outrage. You see right here the Arizona stack coming in. It's very close right there. And we're about
Trump picked up Ohio.
So that's pretty fascinating that Arizona's getting that vote in. So
interesting.
We'll get back there in a minute. Let's move more to the east and some of the battlegrounds that we know are absolutely key to the.
So Trump is 5-1. Yeah, he's 75 away. If I'm not mistaken. Make sure my math right. Yeah, he's 75 away from it. That's the last poll I looked at. They said she was going to get Ohio. Wow. This is, wow. Wow. Yeah, because I was looking at something. Yep. On that note, they did have him having that one. Yeah. They did. Okay. It's going to be interesting now because see what this thing, how this thing is polling now. They got it there. Just one. So even ABC News go there, going to say 195, 91. Channel 4. No, they gave her some more, so she had 11, 12. So why didn't they call that for her yet? So Channel 4 gave her 11, 12 votes. I mean, she picked up a state. I appreciate the light. I guess they're trying to wait before they call it. Because Channel 4 put it at 198 to 112. So he picked up another state. She picked up one. It's getting closer in Michigan, 50 to 48.2. I'm definitely going to say the biggest thing that has happened this time around so far, just with the voting and the polling, there's no COVID. So now it's the issue of, do people agree with what her message is and they went out to the polls with big numbers to vote for her? Or a lot of people ain't happy how things been going the last 3 years. And they want something different. Because, wow. I thought it'd be closer. Yeah, she definitely going to pick up California, some traditional states. Yeah, she definitely going to get some of them. No question. No question on that. But that's gonna be the question. Then New York, a lot of them she probably pick up. But he may have flipped some states. That's gonna be key. Now, what switches from last go round? And that's huge. And you can't talk about this election without talking about COVID played a big factor last time around 4 years ago because 100 million people voted absentee ballot. This time around, absentee ballot might not play that big of a deal. It's been more who actually went to the polls. I know when former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in 2016, when I voted at the polls about 5 or 6 for her, I was like number 50 something. I'm like, I ain't 150 or 200 on the line. I felt it like, this ain't good. You know, I used to be a long line or something. So now I'm curious to see, okay, well, what's going on? What people paying attention to this time around? I do think the border, the economy, and inflation are playing a big factor in this election go around. Without question. Trump gained the ground in Michigan. It was 50 to like 48. It's 49.3 to 48.2. This is interesting. That's in Wayne County.
Numbers are meaningless. When we come to the end of the night, where's Harris and where's Trump? Where's Trump? Is he getting?
Mm-hmm.
Golden for us. Treat ED with doctor trusted medication. Get started today at hims.com.
The President of the United States, Joe Biden, getting 68%. Donald Trump just 30%. When we come to the end of the night, these numbers are meaningless. When we come to the end.
Golden for us. Treat ED with doctor trusted medication. Get started today at hims.com.
Okay, let's reboot the site.
Wayne County will be blue at the end of the night, but the margin in Wayne County will matter and will matter huge in deciding who wins the state.
Oh, he went in Wayne County.
President of the
Wow.
United States, Joe Biden getting 68%.
It's a switch.
Donald Trump just 30%. When we come to the end of the night, these numbers are meaningless. When we come to the end of the night, where's Harris and where's Trump? Where's Trump? Is he getting?
Detroit is red.
Night, but the margin in Wayne County will matter and will matter huge in deciding who wins the state. Again,
Detroit
President of the
blue.
United States, Joe Biden getting 68%. Donald Trump just 30%. When we come to the end of the night, these numbers are meaningless. When we come to the end of the night, where's Harris and where's
Oh,
Trump?
Detroit is
Where's
red.
Trump?
What the world? Wow. It was blue for Biden last time go around. Let me put a new link up. I don't know what's going on with that one. Wow, Detroit turned red. A lot of people didn't go out there and vote. That's different. It just might be a little different. And Post is going to do the best they can with it to give you an idea what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, the people got to vote and do it in big numbers. That's the key. Who voting? Who voting the big numbers? Checking other sites. Well, I ain't gonna do that just yet. And Channel 4, where we got them at with the numbers. Yeah, we got her at 112, him on 198. Okay. I always wonder why Channel 4 website don't have the actual map. What's going on with that? Everybody else do it. You must got something wrong with that thing, because why you still stuck on Wayne County? You been on that for a minute. Fix y'all stuff. Yeah, your live stream messing up. You've been showing that same link for a second. Come on, man. Fix your stuff. Yeah, ain't something wrong with that stuff. But so far, he has a nice lead so far. It's still too early. Too early to call. Let me get on their website, they app, because they got a glitch going on with their thing. See what's the latest. The biggest difference I see, some of the states that voted for Biden are turning red. And that's shocking. It's quite shocking. All right, live updates. Where they map that other presidential thing? And Pennsylvania, Trump is winning. This is like a lot of the blue ones, he turning red. This is crazy. Real crazy. Okay, they still got 195 or 91. Why you got Michigan blue when Trump was leading? No, that's right, she was leading, my bad. But Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, a lot of those were blue last time around. That's for changing the game with this thing. That's changing the whole game. People are out voting. Okay, they have done it now. They gave him 12-7 from the updated. Yep. This is interesting. Now I'm gonna check back on there and see what's going on. There we go. Both of them have over 40 million people voted for them so far. That's good. Oh, yikes. This is crazy. It's real crazy, man. A lot of the states that went for Biden are switching. If this thing play out the way it's looking and he win, it's going to be a huge cluster fuck within the Democratic Party. Any loyalists left to Biden is going to say, y'all should let that man run his race and see what happened. And if he really was getting too sick, you could have passed it off to her. This is straight up who the people going to vote for. This is straight up what we got. Who the people going to vote for? House one. Oh, Trump is winning 207 to 91. Doug. When I put it across the screen, that's the most accurate what I found. Do I add a comment? The vote. Most up to date. All right. So anybody that watching, they probably head into my special broadcast of the election. I'm checking all the news sources. Give you the most accurate count of who's winning. And I'm stay up here today announcing one. Middle ground, JLE. That's what we do. To this history bank that's going to have a women or not since Grover won back in 1892. It wasn't consecutive, but he got back in there. This will be history making on that level too. And if it's a blowout win, given all the felony counts and all of the things about Trump, this will be historians going to have to really see, like, how do we explain this on what happened and why it happened. The fact he's already at 200 is huge.
In battleground Michigan, Kamala Harris in the lead. She has 52.5% of the vote. Donald Trump with 45.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a more than 102,000 vote lead. That's with 27% of the estimated vote in from battleground Michigan. In North Carolina, Donald Trump maintaining his lead. He has 50.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 47.9%.
I think Biden got North Carolina last time.
134,000 plus votes ahead, with 84% of the estimated vote in the Tar Heel state. In Virginia, Kamala Harris still in the lead, 49.9%.
Ooh, that's close.
48.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris is maintaining a 55,000 plus vote lead with 3/4 of the vote in there. In Virginia, 75% of the estimated vote. And then in New Mexico, Kamala Harris with 53.2% of the vote in the lead there. Donald Trump has 44.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 48,589 more votes than Donald Trump right now, with an estimated 65% of the vote. Still about a third of the vote left to count in New Mexico. And Boris Sanchez has a new projection for us in the fight for control of the U.S. Senate. Boris?
Yeah, Jake, a handful of important projections to bring you, beginning with history being made in the state of Maryland. There, the executive of Prince George's County, Democrat Angela Alsobrooks, will defeat former two-term Republican Governor Larry Hogan. She becomes the first African-American person ever elected to the Senate from the state of Maryland. Another projection of
Congrats to her.
The state of Delaware. Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester defeats Eric Hansen, a former Walmart executive, the Democrat here becoming the first woman and the first African-American person ever elected to the Senate from Delaware. A projection to bring you in the Northeast, this time in New York. There, incumbent Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a former presidential candidate, she will win her third full term in office as she defeats former NYPD detective Mike Sapercone. Let's get you some updates on the Republican side, beginning with the Lone Star State.
Damn it, Ted Cruz won.
Going into the night,
Damn.
Democrats had optimism about potentially flipping this seat from red to blue.
That dude keep his seat in Texas, man.
Republican incumbent Ted Cruz wins re-election, cruising his third term against Democrat Colin Allred, a congressman from the Dallas area, a former Tennessee Titans middle linebacker. Cruz here winning by a substantial margin in the Lone Star State. An update now from Mississippi. There, incumbent Republican Roger Wicker wins his third
And the
term,
Senate,
defeating civil rights attorney Ty Pickens. Re-election for Wicker in Mississippi.
it's 35-48.
One of the reddest states in the country, Wyoming.
Republicans leading. They're 3 away from the majority.
Wins his fourth term as he defeats Scott Morrow, a union official who touts his black belt in Taekwondo on his campaign website. Barrasso re-elected in Wyoming. Some more projections to bring you. Beginning in Missouri, there, incumbent
This dude's still around.
Charlie, perhaps best known for being the first senator to object to certifying the 2020 election results in favor of Joe Biden. He defeats Democrat Lucas Kuntz to win re-election in Missouri. Meantime, in Nebraska, this special election, Pete Ricketts, a former governor there, he defeats Preston Love Jr., a former campaign manager for Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign in 1984. This is to serve out the term left by retired Republican Senator Ben Sasse. An update from North Dakota now. There, incumbent Republican Senator Kevin Cramer wins his second term, defeating engineering professor
You keep these seats in the Senate, man.
in North Dakota. So what do all these results mean for the magic number that Republicans need to take control of the U.S. Senate? Remember, they started out the night needing 2 Democratic seats to flip the chamber. Right now, that number with a pickup in West Virginia is 1. And currently, as of this moment, Republicans are leading in 4 races where Democrats hold seats. But hold on, because that needs some context. 2 of these states are fairly early. One of them is Montana.
So too close to call the
seat.
seat. So they take back to 10. They get 2 of those.
And there's also potentially a twist. I'll explain that in just a moment as we take a look at some key race alerts. These are live results coming into CNN right now. In Pennsylvania, this race has been back and forth all night. Look at what separates the former CEO of a hedge fund, Dave McCormick, from incumbent Democratic Senator Bob Casey. 0.1 percentage points, 44,000 vote lead for McCormick, with 61% of the vote in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Meantime, the most expensive Senate race in the country, in history, nearly $500 million spent on this race, and currently,
that's a lot of money, man.
Bernie Moreno leads incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown with 261,000 votes, 84% of the vote in Ohio, where now Donald Trump has won the book, I state, 3 times in a row. And this is the twist I was talking about before. No one expected this Senate race in Nebraska would be this close. You have Dan Osborne, an independent. Said
I know.
Caucus with. In fact, saying that he would caucus with neither party. Right now, he holds a 10,000, almost 11,000 vote lead.
Here's hope for independence. I won.
48% of the vote in there. If he wins, it could change the math a little bit for what Republicans need to take control of the Senate. Let's step back and give you a look at the balance of power. The raw numbers: Democrats hold 35 seats, Republicans 48. Again, with that 1 pickup of West Virginia, but there are 17 seats still up for grabs. You need 51 for control of the chamber, Jake.
That Nebraska race is fascinating. The presidential race is moving west right now. And we are counting down to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's when a total of 78 electoral votes are on the line. Most of them are in California. Polling places are about to close there, and also in Idaho and Oregon and Washington State. Kamala Harris is counting on Blue California to push her closer to the 270 electoral votes needed to win the White House. Let's go back to Abby Phillip at Harris campaign headquarters. Abby, you and Jeff been talking to people inside
some of them should go
the
there.
Harris campaign. What are they telling you?
Yeah, Jake, let me just give you a gut check here about what we are hearing here as we've been sitting here reporting from the Harris
Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Too early to call.
Because the Harris team appears to be searching for bright spots in the map.
Too early to call. In the Senate, Republicans are picking up steam, take back the Senate. Whoever wins could have a Senate, I think, and they own the House, so Republicans control Congress again. Either it'll be Republican control Congress with a Republican president, or Democratic president, Republican Congress. Now, the issue, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, but within the last few years, Obama had total control of Washington, Democratic Congress. They didn't vote on everything he wanted. They was concerned about themselves. Biden had the same thing, total control of Washington, Democratic Congress. They only cared about themselves. Joe Manchin, he ran for president, was looking at it. They don't get them people to fall in line like Republicans do. They get control. Whether you agree on the policy they vote for, they people know their role and vote for it. Democrats don't know their role. When they get control, they don't do no good for the people. They start looking out for themselves. But I don't want to vote on that because my election up next year and I don't want to lose. But you got a chance to help the people. That's why you're there. That's the only reason why you're there. It ain't to look out for you. It was good for the people. And you don't see it all the time. So I look at whenever Democrats got control of Congress, at this point, who cares? Y'all ain't going to vote on nothing to help the people. Y'all going to look out for yourselves. Go, as wrestling say it, go into business for yourself. You ain't going to vote what the people need. That's where at halftime, there ain't no difference. Because you're supposed to vote for the people, which y'all claim. And when y'all get power, y'all don't do it. Republicans vote for their interests, whatever that might be. It might align with the people, it might not, but they're going to vote for their interests. And that's a problem. Like right now, yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock. Even if she got all 78, that'll put her at 169. If she get all those states on the West Coast to come up. But he's been flipping the ones that, the battlegrounds, they're leaning red this time around. And that's the real key.
Let's look at Battleground Georgia. First, let's just look at the entire map and look at it out. There's a lot of red on that map. A lot of red on that map, and that tells you right now, with a lot of votes to be counted, this map looks a lot more like 2016 than it does like 2020. And you know at home what happened in those two elections. But we're not done with the count, so let's look in Georgia. Right now, the former president leading in Georgia by 136,000 votes in change at 51% to 48%, 89% in. So when you get this close to the finish line, you're saying, what's left, and is it enough? Isn't it enough to overcome 136,000 votes? So let's start with that, and let's look at where our live outstanding votes are. The bigger the circle, the more votes still to be counted. The color of the circle, how the votes coming in that area right now. So you do see a lot of big circles in Atlanta and the suburbs, down here in Savannah and the suburban areas around that, Columbus, Georgia down here. You see some pockets of Democratic votes that are still out. They're large pockets. That's a lot of votes. And if they come in big numbers, we'll see how significantly the vice president narrows that gap. You also see a lot of these little blue dots. They're not done in the rural counties in Georgia. And that matters too. Because yes, if you get a big basket of votes in Cobb County is at 95% though. So you're not going to get a ton there. Fulton County is at 90%. It's the largest population center. So 10% can be a lot of votes because of the population center. This is the one we're waiting the most on, Gwinnett County. But they're up to 72% now. And then we'll come down here and look at DeKalb County. They're at 89% now. So we have more votes to come from in this circle of Atlanta and the suburbs around it that are blue. But we also have more votes to come from in some of these counties out here. That one's at 94. That one's at 95. That one's at 98. That one's at 92. So you got a lot of the vote in these places. So Donald Trump still has some votes to pick up in the rural areas. The question is, how big are the vice president's advantages in the Democratic areas where votes are still out? When you're down by 136,000 votes with 89% reporting, when those votes come in, not only in Atlanta suburbs, I just want to check down here in Chatham County, they're only at 36%. So again, if you're in the Harris campaign, Abby and Jeff are exactly right. They are scrubbing the books now. They're looking at their data projections. They are calling people in the states. They are trying to find out what happened here. How many people turned out? We're getting 60% of the vote.
People ain't voting.
36% counting. How many more to get? And are they all ours, or are we splitting these votes? It gets frantic in campaign headquarters at this point of the night when you're trying to figure out, is the math possible? I would say as you pull it out, yes, the math is possible, but you'd rather be Donald Trump right now in Georgia than the vice president of the United States. So let's look at North Carolina, another of the Sun Belt states. 145,000 votes ahead. That's almost twice what Donald Trump won North Carolina by 4 years ago. 85% of the vote in. Same test.
And I know went blue last time.
Vote? Again, smaller circle now in Mecklenburg. I'll go there in just a second to see. That was a little bit bigger earlier.
I mean, right now, it looked like he's trying to show she still got a chance. But a small chance, what it looks like. Because this is about to be 11 o'clock. And they got her at 91. So they ain't called some of these other states yet for her. They want to be sure. But I think, and see, when they sit back and look at this thing, and they probably doing this right now, like, okay, I thought we did the analytics showing we're going to get most of the states Joe has, so we're going to pull this thing out while we behind. I'll blame the campaign manager. I mean, I'm a voter. She wasn't saying nothing at first. She was doing what Trump was doing, in my opinion. Whatever the people who you talking to, you said something to. In 2020, she ran on domestic foreign policy. And where she went and spoke, that's what she was touting. She didn't do that this time around. And I found it weird as a voter. How you trying to talk as if you're not the sitting vice president with some of the issues under this administration she's a part of were having hiccups with? That's a real thing. Like what is the, and I use an example on the show about at the debate, they both lied at certain points, but they were not fair and fact checked her like they did Trump. Because she went on a tangent on how all them tariffs you did on China was horrible, it increased inflation, this, that, and the other. And all Trump said, they giving Idaho, California to her. Yeah, that makes sense. Idaho to Trump. Need an update. Okay. Edit. So they're giving California to Harris. That jumps her to 145. And Idaho went to Trump. So that put her 145, him at 211. Most up to date. Battleground state too close to call, even though Trump is leading in Pennsylvania. Harris leading in Michigan. Trump leading North Carolina. They're going to wait for the call those. And Trump leading in Georgia. So a lot of those that went blue at the moment look red. But, and all Trump said to her, was saying all that about, well, your tariffs on China was an issue. Why do y'all still have them in place? Now, I don't know why she didn't expect that was going to be his rebuttal. And she started changing the question, didn't want to answer it, deflect. And the panel did not say, hold on, Ms. VP, answer that question. You start going on a tangent saying how he the reason for A, B, C, D, E with these tariffs. And he asks, why do you still have them in place for the last 3 years? I felt that was the problem watching that debate. Like, you're going to run your mouth and you ain't got an answer for that? Okay. And just the way she talked, you know, if you didn't know, just why I didn't vote for her, you would have thought she was not the vice president. She talked like she was a candidate running that didn't have to do with this administration. I'm like, man, hold on. You can't say all these issues that's been going on and you've been VP for these years, and now we know his health is jacked up. That's why y'all pulled him. You couldn't do nothing behind the scenes to bring nothing up. But a VP, I mean, hell, Dick Cheney and Trump ran Washington with iron fist, which means that VP didn't got no power. George Sr. with Reagan was running stuff. What you talking about? VP don't have no power to do nothing. Nah, bro. I mean, I wasn't feeling Trump, the immunity for police, because some out here not right. And your people did attack the Capitol. And a few other things you did. I know he got credit for the Obama economy. I read about my business classes, the Great Moderation, they called it. No, that was the Clinton. They called it something else because he brought it back. So everybody kind of gains off others. I get that. But then it wasn't until like the last tweet, like I said earlier, where you start seeing both parties start saying more policy talk in their commercials. Where was that in the beginning? What I heard from both of them, I ain't feeling none of this. I mean, I wasn't going to vote if it was Biden, him too, like, man, what the world? But thanks to the absentee ballot, I ain't got no excuse not to vote. Because when I get people dying for us to have the right to vote, like, dude, give me something better than this. And y'all sitting up here in power for the last 3 years, and y'all know these companies are price gouging on food and gas and whatever. Why ain't y'all going after them with the Attorney General? Cut that out. Come on, man. What we doing? Don't start running on YouTube non-stop commercials. You paying too much for food. I'm gonna go after them now. You've been sitting in the White House for 3 years. You should have been going after them. You are the VP right now. To me, that's what makes it look bad. Like, dude, hold on. You in there right now. So you knew this and didn't care? Because y'all get information on all stuff going on in the world. So how y'all don't see eggs and all this ridiculously priced and you ain't coming after these people? We've been past COVID for a few years now. So why people still got pricing like they ain't no eggs and milk nowhere? Come on now. Quit playing. We're doing too much. And they're trying to count every vote.
You know, how many votes are out and what percentage you were getting. But if you're looking at the North Carolina map, I'd rather be Donald Trump than the Vice President of the United States right now. So then you bring up the Georgia map. And again, this one, I'll say this again, I'm a broken record. 2024 is not 2020. There's not as many mail-in ballots. We won't have as many large percentages of Democratic votes coming in the days after. But Donald Trump was ahead by more than 200,000 votes at this point 4 years ago. So let's just be cautious for the sake of being cautious. And yet, at the same time, I just said that, I want to tell you, he's 136,000 votes ahead in a state that was decided by 11,000 votes last cycle. 88% of the vote is in. So where is the live outstanding vote? Live outstanding vote. This is where in the Harris campaign, you're just hoping that overnight these Democratic areas report not just their votes, but a lot of votes. You're hoping turnout, exceeds your expectations. So you see down here in the Savannah area, this is where the races are won or lost for Democrats. Atlanta and the suburbs around it. So let's come out of that map.
So it's based on the footwork now.
Fulton County, 90% of the vote is in. Yes, she's getting 72% of the vote. Just want to check, compare that. It's a little below where President Biden was, but it's close. But
yeah,
remember,
that's the thing this time around. It ain't 100 million.
So she can't really afford to be below
absentee ballot votes this time around.
Or not by much anyway. You move over to Cobb County, 91% in. This is a big suburban county, right? So 91%, you have some change to make up there. She's at 57% if you round that up. The President of the United States is at 56, so she's running equal, maybe a little bit ahead there. So let's come over to DeKalb County here. Let's come up to 2024 and see what's left. 11% left. Again, large, very Democratic area. You see the 81% there just to the east of Atlanta. Let's just check 2020. Biden getting 83.
By 11:30, he used to call the presidency before Trump said people cheating.
In a race that's very close, yes, it can be a big difference. So we have to watch at the moment. Let's come out. Let's do it this way. Come back to 2024.
We're going to see what takes to
Let's
midnight.
just pop in this and see where's Harris underperforming. Where is Harris underperforming Joe Biden? In a state Joe Biden won by 11,000 votes, you can't really underperform. And she's underperforming in 28 of the 159 counties, right? So we have more votes to be counted. We're not done yet. This is not a final glimpse. But you see out in these rural areas, this is part of the secret of Joe Biden's win in 2020. He got his butt kicked by Donald Trump in these small rural counties, but he did better than Hillary Clinton. Blue-collar workers, rural workers, people who work with their hands, Joe Biden did just a little bit better. And in a state decided by 11,000 votes, that can matter. So again, you asked me about the map. We're not done. We're going to count. The Harris campaign will update us. They enter their counties. We have people on the ground asking the people, our vote desk with Pam Brown, what votes are still outstanding. But if you look at this map right now, I want to switch. Well, let's just check real quickly where we are in Wisconsin, 61%. I want to check Milwaukee. This is where, okay, only at 53% in Milwaukee. Black turnout in Milwaukee better be huge in the uncounted vote for the vice president to catch up. I talked to a Democrat out there earlier who said it was good. They didn't say it was great. They said it was good. And I asked if it was great, and they said it was good. So we'll see how that plays out. Dane County,
good ain't great.
74%. We're at 91%.
Black people didn't vote.
Broken record, 75%. A percentage point can matter, underperforming by just a little bit. And so she's losing in Wisconsin. Got a ways to go there. She's holding on in Michigan at the moment. We're still only at 32%. So we got a long way to go in battleground Michigan. We'll come back out here. And this one is the biggest. I'm going to show you why in just a second. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we've been saying it for weeks. 19 electoral votes, the largest of the battleground states out there. 72% in, 178,000 vote lead. That's a healthy lead. Now, again, let's look. There's a lot of votes. This is what happened. Remember 2020. Donald Trump was ahead in Pennsylvania. This was what brought Joe Biden back. They counted the votes, mainly in Philadelphia, but also in the suburbs around.
It was absentee, though.
There were a lot more early mail-in votes then to be counted.
You don't got that this time.
Now, but we shall see as we come out. And Jake, before you jump in, and please ask me anything you want. One little quirky thing. Trump's leading in Northampton. Harris is leading in Erie. Those are the two swing counties that have been. So just watching that. But here's what I want to say right now. I just want to bring this up to show the stakes for the Harris campaign right now. As the count in North Carolina gets higher and in Georgia gets higher, the importance if Donald Trump, this is a hypothetical, but if Donald Trump holds these two, and he won that one both times, 2016 and 2020. He won this in 2016. He lost it by 11,000 votes in 2020. So not at all inconceivable in history. And when you look at the numbers tonight, excuse me, if that happens, Harris cannot lose that. Why can she not lose that? Because 251 plus 19 makes Donald Trump president of the United States. So the rest of them wouldn't matter. I don't mean your votes don't matter in those other states. But in terms of the path to 270, if he holds the leads he has right now in those two states, which are healthy leads, she cannot afford to lose that. Just cannot. And at the moment, as we switch maps, please jump in if you want. I'm just going to switch back to the national map so we can watch the count.
Okay. I want to stick on Pennsylvania and bring in Kay Baldwin.
If it play out and he get called, it'll be he switched a lot of those battleground states red. And the reason why, and again, they're going to have to talk about this election. 100 million people voted absentee due to COVID in 2020. You don't have that this time around. My numbers might be too high. When they do the final count, it might be maybe 30 to 40 million voted absentee, if that high. And now it's the boots on the ground. And I mean, what he like to do tonight, he be hustling. I mean, you see him in the garbage outfit, riding with the people. He hustling. I mean, you look back at 2016, and a lot of people shout like, dude, he outworked her. He did. To the very last moment, he was out there talking to the people, all the people. Let him cuss him out to his face. This is what I want to do. It made sense, like what I actually talked to me. And that would be the question with her. Did she talk to everybody? You know, she barely went on Fox News Channel and interviewed. He went anywhere. A lot of people felt a lot of the interviews she had were softball. They didn't attack her. I mean, guaranteed they're going to blame the campaign manager if it play out the way the night's looking. I know as a voter that didn't vote for her, you weren't saying that I wanted to hear. I mean, we know people are price gouging with food, gas, and all this stuff. It wasn't fake news. And it wasn't being addressed, but the last weeks of the election, I saw nothing but commercials on her end talking about it. Just like a lot of stuff he wasn't talking about, really. I mean, it's amazing that he survived 2 assassination attempts, which is crazy within itself. People trying to take this man out. You know, but in the last 2 weeks, he started fixing his messaging to deal more with the policy, what people want to hear. Like, neither one was talking nothing of that by the time I got my ballot. Y'all just talking to the crowd, placating what they want to hear. Like, no. I'm tired of holding my nose and vote for lesser 2 evils. Damn that. I need better candidates. Talking about real stuff. That's what I need. So if you're joining me, this is a special middle ground election 24. The ticker across is the most current up to date. She just got California. That jumped her from 91 to 145. He just picked up Idaho. That got him to 211. In the key battleground states, Harris is leading in Michigan. Trump is leading in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. But it's too early to call. And the votes that's out left now is it's not that surge that was reported back in 2020. As I mentioned earlier, when I was watching Morning Joe, they explained people forgot 100 million people already voted absentee due to COVID. The numbers you're getting on the election night in 2000 were the ones that walked in. They got 100 million votes to count all them battleground states. It's going to take till Saturday because a lot of these states didn't want to count those early. Everything he said played out exactly what he explained it. And by early afternoon, they should call Joe Biden president because the numbers were saying out of them 100 million votes, they mostly voted for Joe Biden. And that's how a lot of states flipped for Joe. And Trump had to get the same information back then, but he felt like you cheated. They told you. The 100 million absentee, that big stockpile, got to be counted, and they mostly voted for Biden. This time around, we ain't got that. This is mostly who went to the polls. Absentee, I'm saying 20 to 40 million. It might not be that many. And if that's the case, it becomes another issue of they didn't really rock with her. Oh, she picked up 9 more. So she got 153. Let me add that. Now we got another one. She picked up Oregon. Oh, that's the same one? Yeah. That's the one. She just picked up Oregon. So now she got 153 to 211. In early stats and maps, I was looking at a lot of her placated on her getting the same stage Joe got last time. And those are looking red this time around. Trump still has lead Wisconsin. That was blue last time. He's leading in Pennsylvania. That went blue last time. Harris leading in Michigan. That went blue last time.
In battleground Georgia, Donald Trump in the lead, 50.9% of the vote.
That
Kamala
went
Harris
blue
is
last time.
48.3% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 131,000 vote lead over Kamala Harris. That's with 90%.
That's the crazy part. A lot of these states went blue
10% to go there
because of
Georgia,
100 absentee
Donald
ballots
Trump,
last time.
in the lead. In North Carolina, another battleground, Donald Trump still in the lead there. With
That was blue last time.
Of the vote.
Trump
Kamala
leading.
Harris with 47.9% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 138,000 vote lead over Kamala Harris with an estimated 87% of the votes in. In battleground Michigan, Kamala Harris is in the lead, 50.2%
Wow, okay,
of the
bitch,
vote.
stand
Donald
up.
Trump has 48%
Almost
of the vote.
2 million
Harris
people voted.
has a more than
Nice.
40,000 vote lead over Donald Trump with 33% of the vote in there. John King?
So, Jake, just going through some of these counties in Pennsylvania again. Joe Biden won the state.
Trump leading Arizona.
Let's go back and show you it. 81,000 votes, right? His birth state. He's from Delaware now, but he was born in Pennsylvania. That was one of the things that helped him, is because he was, as he liked to call himself, the scrappy kid from Scranton. So where are we now in 2024? I was just looking at here. This is Lackawanna County. This is where Joe Biden was born, Scranton, Pennsylvania. You say, well, the vice president's winning it with 51%, but Donald Trump's at 48, right? So again, in a close battleground state, margins within some of these counties can matter. She's at 51. Joe Biden, 4 years ago, was at 54. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. You look at the margin there. You say, oh, that's only 9,000 votes, right? You know, but if you're trying now, you're trying to make up this lead, right? That's 3,000.
Now, see, I want to paint this narrative for you from my perspective. Because 4 years ago, a lot of these states Trump were winning. And when they counted that 100 million absentee ballots that were mainly for Joe Biden, a lot of those states that normally go red flipped to blue by that Saturday. I'm working. And that was quite shocking. You don't have 100 million absentee ballot votes out there this time around. That's why they still doing their best to say, well, it's still some votes that gotta get counted. The bigger bubbles mean there's more votes there. That big wave of a big number ain't out there this time around, because they would have been speaking on it. And no one's speaking on, oh, it's 50 million votes out there that ain't been counted. No. It ain't going down like that this time around. This is who went to the polls. And there was some that was absentee. Some people like to go to the poll. You're just joining, this the most up-to-date for the presidential election. VP Harris has 153. Former President Trump has 211. There won't be no 3 or 4 day count later because there's no 100 million coronavirus absentee ballots like 2020 that helped swing a lot of these states that Trump were winning last time in 2020 but lost them. So this time around, a lot of these states may play out, he still keep them. Because there's no big chunk of votes that's out there. They're hoping the ones that still blue in them counties got over 2 billion votes. that ain't been counted. But our news I checked, they say across the country, people were waiting in lines for hours to vote. I won the story. I didn't see that story on social media. That was the difference with Trump. I mean, well, Obama, and then everybody mostly voted absentee. So it can still come down to being a close one. But a lot of those key battleground states, he's winning by more than 5,000 votes. And once they count them all, he ain't that far away right now. He's 59 votes away from winning. That's why he's really showing it's really that simple at this point. He's 59 away. And so far, he's leading the popular vote, 55 million and 353 votes. She got 49,181,430. So my vote, we got reflipped. Trump has 55,345,531 votes. Harris has 49,661,145 votes. No, it just jumped again. Now she got 49,736,675 votes. So people have gotten out there and voted. That's good. Whoever you voted for. But that's the biggest difference this time around. You don't have all the absentee ballot votes out there like last time. That was like a big wave at the end of the day. How many votes are still out there that they're counting in those counties that are still being counted in these states that are key? And the man said it live, how many black people vote in some of these key states that they still counting votes in certain counties before they call the state. It's going to be pivotal. Because all the battleground states except Michigan, Trump is leading. They let all the votes get counted. If you're just joining, the ticker at the bottom is the most current electoral college vote count. Trump 211, Harris 153. This thing crazy. California, that was guaranteed she won that one. That's a very liberal state.
That would be a trophy if Donald Trump wins this election. That would be a trophy he would very much like to claim after losing the popular vote in 2 elections in a row.
I also know there are people in the senior echelons of the Trump campaign who say that they still do direct mail because there's said seniors, you can't reach seniors through texting and emails. That the way to reach them is with direct mail, which a lot of people
that's old school, direct mail.
Laugh off, but guess who votes more than young people? Seniors. Sarah Seidner. Let's go to Wisconsin if you can, because I want to bring in Sarah Seidner.
And that's key. Most elections,
Milwaukee,
seniors always
right
vote.
now,
Women.
66% of the vote in.
And all demographics.
In the lead there with 50%.
Demographics.
In Wisconsin in general, Kamala Harris with 47.8%. Donald Trump right now in the lead by almost 60,000 votes. Sarah, you have a
okay, she got to 50 million votes now.
So
it's 55 million.
A third of the state's vote is outstanding. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we just heard a big cheer go up here in Milwaukee at the central count, as they call it. because all the wards have finally reported. So they are counting these ballots as fast as they can. They do believe they're going to be able to give some kind of idea of this count after midnight. It will not take the extra 2 or 3 hours they thought it might because of that problem with what happened with the tabulators, which, by the way, are right behind me, one of them. All 13
So Wisconsin might be called before midnight.
The door was not locked, and so they, out of an abundance of caution, decided that they were going to rerun through the absentee ballots, 30,000 of them, but they've been able to do that, and now they're about 80,000.
30,000 absentee ballots.
325.
My numbers might be way too high this time around.
Been processed. All right, with me now we have Patricia Ruiz-Cantu and Douglas Haig, Republican, Democrat. Both of them are on the Milwaukee Election Commission. First of all, how are things going, and do you think we're going to find out something soon?
We will. I think things are going really well, even though we had a little hiccup. But, as we united, all the workers and the parties, I think that it's extremely important that we were in the same page and that we had an agreement and everything is going well.
What did you make of this? I know Ron Johnson came out, a Republican, and was very, upset with all of this and was sort of making hay about it. What were your thoughts on what happened with these machines?
I didn't step out for a minute, so it's advertised from a book. back. Count still the same.
Vote here for Trump. Let's just double check it and come back. He improved up a little bit. He improved a little bit. And then you come over here to the O. I did wow backwards for you there. I put the O at the end.
Yeah.
But you come over to Ozaki here, and the former president is at 55% of the vote in 2020, and he's at 56, roughly the same, but a little bit, So Trump is not underperforming. It's maybe within the margins, but when you see that well behind where President Biden was, and now you're waiting on this. I mean, there are some other small things. Let's take a look and see what else is out there. But
those numbers for Wisconsin.
The biggest thing is here, and some of these votes up in here. If you're in the Trump campaign, we're talking about can she come back? But if you're in the Trump campaign, you're also saying, do we have a cushion? Is there more coming in for us? And the answer is yes.
They got out. They got them out the vote this time.
When you look up there, so the next thing we learned from Milwaukee is how many votes.
In every battleground state so far I've seen,
how does it affect
votes they
statewide
still
map?
counting.
And
You
then
still
how much
got
is left?
Trump votes still
How
counting
much
too.
is left in your biggest area? You have to turn them out because then again, I just want to come up here and look at this again. Brown County. This is Green Bay. Blue collar workers. Trump's getting 61. The vice president's getting 37 or 38 if you want to round that up. That matters.
Oh my God,
It matters.
he almost shot almost 10 points.
Right.
9 points.
Right. In a battleground state, he's up and she's down in a place where if you're the Harris campaign, the Biden campaign, you're not going to win here. You're not going to win here. But if you make it that race, if you make it that close instead of that close, you get a better result. Period. It's simple math.
Let's go on to the third of the blue wall states, Michigan. Jim Sciutto is at a vote counting center in Detroit. And Jim, you have an update on the vote in Wayne County. Tell us.
Well, let me tell you, we've been in touch with the Secretary of State's office really every few minutes here, trying to figure out when we're going to get another batch of Detroit, of course, the surrounding Wayne County votes. And we're told very soon. They won't put a figure on very soon, but very soon. We know they're working hard, calculating those numbers, counting those votes, and that there have been no issues. They're not encountering any issues with machines, etc. This is just a process of getting the work done. We've also been in touch with Macomb County, where we were outside of Detroit earlier today. They are also expecting, they say, another batch of votes to be reported quite soon. And here where we are in Detroit, this is the location where they've been counting the absentee ballots. Just in the last hour, another 2,500 or so absentee ballots came in. That brings us pretty much to the end of the 100,000 that they've expected. And at some point in the next hour,
Michigan had 100,000.
Truck come in with the remaining absentee ballots that they've collected from drop
So
boxes
these numbers
around
might
the
be
city
real
here.
low this year.
And they've been counting as they've been going. Remember, because they started counting last Monday. They didn't have to wait till Election Day. So those numbers will be done soon. I will say the Secretary of State told me earlier this evening that she's moving up her expectation that by midday tomorrow, they could report final unofficial results, saying she believes they might be able to do that tonight, perhaps after midnight in the next couple of hours. But of course, they'll have to get those Wayne County numbers done first. I should note, the Secretary of State just walked in here to monitor
just the actual count so far.
Absentee ballots that she's been doing at precincts around.
Trump has 211. VP Harris has 153.
16% reported in Wayne County, home of Detroit.
One of the things you look for in life are consistency.
Death taxes, Wayne County comes to life.
Wayne County, Gary, Indiana, they're consistent. This is my 10th presidential election.
I mean, it's just huge that saying about 100,000 more absentee ballot votes in Michigan for Wayne County area. So a lot of people didn't do absentee this time around. It's pretty much who went to the polls and voted. Well, a lot of people did vote because she's still winning the state. I think she'll keep Michigan. I'd be shocked at that flip. And the one she losing, I don't know. Them a lot of votes. They double digit thousands, not no 5, like 11. A lot of votes to make up. It's 11:38 now. I'm at least do it till about. I'm trying to stay till about midnight, so I ain't gonna be on here all night. Cause I assume they'll call it after midnight if we got a new president, whoever. But they might want to count every vote, so it's possible we might not. But yeah, it's one of them things, man. You do see the difference of climate and what's going on in the country. Oh, damn. They just gave Trump another one.
What are the Democratic margins, right? You've got 83 counties in the state of Michigan. So 56%, we're about halfway through in Kent County. It's the Grand Rapids suburbs, and she's running a little bit ahead of the president there. But, Jake, the big question in Michigan is, when do those Wayne County votes come in, and what can they do?
Stand by for projection.
All right, John. Well, CNN has a major projection.
North Carolina.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the state of North
That's
Carolina.
huge.
This is the first of 7 battleground states that we're keeping an eye on, and we are calling it for Donald Trump. What does that mean for the electoral count? Donald Trump now has 227 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 153. 270 are needed to the win. Let's go to Trump HQ in West Palm Beach, Florida, where we find Caitlin Collins. And Caitlin, CNN is now calling North Carolina for Donald Trump. This is the first of 7 battleground states that the campaign is watching with.
It was 8 battleground states, now it's down to 7. Trump been awarded North Carolina 16 votes.
Going to be seen as a gut check for the Trump campaign. Listen here, it's a bit of a delay, but your call is playing right now over the loudspeakers in the room, Jake. You can hear the party here, the partygoers gathered at the convention center here in West Palm Beach cheering as your call is coming on the screen. They have been glued to CNN for the last several moments, watching John King at the map going.
So you can't call CNN fake news, Trump people. If y'all at the Trump
campaign because they were watching
headquarters in West Palm Beach, Florida, watching them call it, because we believe they tend to do a good job with calling stuff.
As the night is going on, still not certain, of course, watching those very important places to see what they look like. And so
Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia,
keep an eye on Pennsylvania,
Wisconsin,
on Wisconsin as this is moving
Michigan.
Jake, I will tell you that we're seeing more people.
So a lot of those states went blue last time.
To the Trump headquarters where this party is going to be held, but also some Republicans.
But the key thing is on why they went that way. And I can't talk about it enough as the narrative for this election. Corona played a huge factor in 100 million absentee ballot votes. And with no Corona, these just straight people going to vote. A lot of these numbers not even as big. I might be overselling it on how many did absentee.
Trump HQ, thank you so much. So the first
it may get, if it gets to 20 million absentee ballots across the country.
This was the most probable pickup for Kamala Harris, if that was the world in which we were living. That is why Donald Trump went down there multiple times in the last 24, 48 hours of the campaign. And it clearly did.
And it's on a slight trend. He was leading.
Trump.
Some of these battlegrounds, he is leading with big numbers.
Like we heard from Caitlin, that this is something that portends well for the future. We don't know what it means for the other states, but what we do know is it's even more evidence that blue wall is the path for Kamala Harris.
And that path is just more and more narrow. I think we're seeing as the night goes on. But also, so many people thought that perhaps this would be an election that in tenor and tone would be closer to the midterms, a big conversation about abortion. That is not where it's going. It seems like you're seeing that male turnout is starting to produce what the campaign wanted.
You know, I think a lot of us came into tonight wondering, was it going to feel more like 2016?
Now, that's going to be huge
2020?
if men played a huge
4
factor.
years ago, I was at Fox,
And
it
then
almost exactly this
they
moment
will go
was
to Obama running his
the,
mouth with
he
the
made a
finger
very
pointing, telling
controversial
grown
call.
men
They
what to
made
do.
a very controversial call
It's
about
going to be a
Obama.
lot of things they're going to put
I
on the
think
carpet
the
on
whole feeling,
what
that's
led
one
to
of the
these
reasons the
results.
Trump campaign was so furious about that call, because it was the first flip and the first indication that maybe it was going to be different than 2016. Right now, and look, there's a lot of voting to count, and states to be called.
But getting
Right
North Carolina, that's
It
huge.
does feel more like 2016 than 2020.
It is interesting, and yeah, and then the fact that
There's
we're
no
calling it at this
100
point
million
is
votes
also
from absentee
significant
because of
I
the
don't think
pandemic.
North Carolina was called
Straight who went to the
last
polls or who did
time 4
absentee.
years
And
ago.
absentee
It's told
votes
maybe a week after the
might
election.
not be
Certainly
that
after
much.
Pennsylvania came on Saturday. I think North Carolina was Sunday or Monday. The fact that we are making this call now suggests that there's a bigger gap than there was last time. And Donald Trump won it last time by something like 75,000 votes.
Generally speaking, he is over what he did in 2020, and she is underperforming what Joe Biden did in 2020, and that ends up what it was a narrow edge for Biden. Is at this point, we have to condition it a narrow defeat for Harris.
And the thing about North Carolina, and John has been talking
And
about this
sadly, these
before,
people not even
at the
fact.
wall
They're not
is
talking about it.
You do have
You had 100 million
of the
absentee
country in the
ballot
state of North
votes
Carolina, in that
because
there
of
is,
Corona.
there are growing
That helped
minority
Biden win.
populations,
That wasn't
and
counted.
there is a growing sort of
A lot of people have
suburban,
started counting the absentee ballots early.
population
There's
in
no
and around
pandemic. You
the
can go
big
to the
cities.
polls.
And so that's
And
why the Harris campaign
men
thought
going to the polls might be
with
the new
dynamics of the
wrinkle
country right now that
or
she would
surprise that
have a
happened.
better shot. But look, the headwinds of the economy, the
These
inflation
most
that people are
accurate.
feeling, the difficulty
Trump just
in
gained North
everything.
Carolina, put him at 227. Harris at 153. He's 43 away. He's 43 away. And they're going to have to talk about, well, what happened? What's the biggest difference? Men voter turnout. There's no coronavirus, so half the country or most of the voters didn't vote absentee. And I would say messaging.
People live every day. It's the economy, it's the price of eggs, it's the fear of inflation, which with the spread of illegal immigrants north is now being felt as an issue, not just on the border, but in northern states as well.
Yeah, and Jake, I'm going to be interested to figure out or to find out once we get all the details how much success the Trump campaign had in increasing their share of the mail vote. They worked really hard at that.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's bring you a key race alert and get you up to speed on where we are in all the states that we have not called. In battleground Pennsylvania, Donald Trump with 51.3%, Kamala Harris 47.6%. Donald Trump more than 212,000 votes ahead with 82% of the estimated vote in from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In battleground Michigan, Donald Trump in the lead, 51.2%.
Oh, snap. He took the lead.
At 47%, Donald Trump at 98,014 votes ahead of Kamala Harris with 41%.
He took the lead in Michigan.
From Michigan. In battleground Wisconsin, Donald Trump.
He got the lead in Wisconsin. Wow.
7.7%. Donald Trump.
She was leading that for a minute.
Plus vote lead over Harris with 71% of the estimated vote in from the Badger State. In battleground Georgia.
And Georgia, all the battleground, he's leading right now.
8% to Harris's 48.
By a lot.
With 128,582 more votes than Kamala Harris, with 92% of the estimated vote counted in the state of Georgia. In the state of Arizona, another battleground. Donald Trump in the lead there.
And he's winning Arizona so far.
To Harris's 49.3%. Donald Trump with a 7,588 vote lead over Kamala Harris. That's with more than half, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump in the lead.
In Nevada, wow.
Harris with 26.2%. Donald Trump with a 10,900.
Yeah, they're going to have to factor in. The men might be the factor in this one.
From Arizona, from
Nevada, only 2%. Boris Sanchez has some new projections in the fight for control of the U.S. Senate.
Jake, a major
Now pick up for the Republicans in the
they
Senate.
have just flipped. They are expected to flip their second Democratic seat of the night. This one coming in Ohio.
They 2 away from the lead.
Defeating incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown Marino, the owner of some luxury car dealerships, who invested early in blockchain technology, fought to attach Brown to the Biden administration more broadly, specifically on issues like immigration. Sherrod Brown, a populist who had survived some difficult tests in his state before, cannot overcome the violence he is facing. Donald Trump has now won Ohio 3 elections in a row.
He is leading a lot of states that went blue for Biden.
So we're projecting that Bernie Moreno
Wow.
is our new junior senator from the Buckeye State. Meantime, 4 Democratic holds. The first one, a historic one in New Jersey. Their Congressman
Andy Kim
is set to become the first Korean American ever to serve in the U.S. Senate.
Yeah, I thought that'd be history making.
Tycoon Curtis Bashaw. Meantime, in Virginia, there.
Tim Kaine, former VP, running
vice
with.
presidential candidate. He's projected to defeat Hung Kao, a former Navy captain. Another Democratic hold to tell you about this one. Martin Heinrich, the incumbent senator there, seeking his 3rd term. He defeats Nella Dominici, whose father was the last Republican senator elected in New Mexico some 20 years ago. Another Democratic hold to project for you. This one coming in the state of Washington. There, Democratic incumbent Senator Maria Cantwell wins her 5th term as she defeats Raul Garcia, an ER doctor. Now, what does that pickup in Ohio mean for the magic number? We started out the night with Republicans needing to pick up 2 Democratic seats to take control of the chamber. With West Virginia and Ohio, they have hit 2, and now they're seeking to pad those numbers. Currently, as we speak, Republicans are leading in 4 seats currently held by Democrats. Let's get you an update on where those are right now with some key race alerts. These are live results coming into CNN. We start with the state of Wisconsin. There, the CEO.
They might get control of Congress again. I mean, if it play out the way it's playing, Trump could come into a Republican Congress and whether you agree with policy they vote on or not, they know they roll and vote. Democrats always go into business for themselves when they get control of Congress. They did it under Obama. They did it under Biden. And they need to do something about why their members don't vote for what the party wants. That's a problem. But this is, she was winning Michigan. And that boy, he's up over 80-some thousand votes in Michigan now. Wow. And they're saying a lot of men have been voting. But they gave it Washington. Okay. That makes sense. The face should get Washington State. Push her at 165. And that's most of the West Coast that came in after 11 o'clock. Chrissy with Channel 4 got it at. No, they got it at 205. They got him at 230. I wonder what are they giving him that they gave him? Yeah, they got him at 230, her at 185. So they're taking their time with it. Yeah, they late. Just yeah, they waiting for they call it. Yeah, I know. I might hang in there. This is shocking. These numbers I have from CNN, the most up to date. Oh, they just added Trump to 230 now. Yeah, add some more. Some other ones seen they got her at 185, but they ain't did it here yet. So I'm kind of sticking with them. The Trump campaign has been watching CNN. So they're about to call the 3. I forgot which state that might be. They got the 3. He just gained Iowa somewhere. But they'll be announcing it soon. But so far, what they put on they raised to 270 has been accurate. I mean, all the battleground states, Trump is leading right now by over 10,000 votes. They're saying a big thing that has happened, men are voting in big numbers. And my narrative on it has been, you don't have 100 million absentee ballot votes of 2020 from Corona. We're seeing that huge difference now.
5 electoral votes from the state of Nebraska.
Gotta give Nebraska.
Allow me a second to explain. Nebraska and Maine allocate their electoral votes partly in addition to the statewide free votes according to congressional district. That's already too complicated, probably. Anyway, put it this way. Donald Trump has won 3 out of the 5 electoral votes. The other 2, we do not know yet, but Donald Trump has 3 of the 5. That means 3 more electoral votes for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean for the electoral map? Donald Trump has 230 electoral votes. He is 40 electoral votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 165 electoral votes. She is 105 electoral votes away from winning. Let's see what the states that we have not called, where their vote counts are. Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is in the lead there with 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.7% of the vote. Donald Trump is ahead of her by more than 206,000 votes. That's with 83% of the estimated vote in. That's Pennsylvania. Battleground Michigan, Donald Trump up 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 46.9% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 111,000 vote lead with an estimated 44% of the vote in from Michigan. Wisconsin now, Donald Trump in the lead there too. 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump almost 80,000 votes ahead of her with 3/4 of the vote, 74% of the estimated vote from the Badger State in. Battleground Georgia, Donald Trump is up 50.7%. Kamala Harris is 48.4%. Donald Trump more than 118,000 votes ahead of her with an estimated 93% of the estimated vote in. Arizona, Donald Trump ahead there too with 49.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 49.3% of the vote. He is more than 7,500 votes ahead of her right now.
It's crazy.
But they still have about 48% of the vote to count, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump is in the lead with 73% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 26.2% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 10,000 vote, almost 11,000 vote lead. That is with only 2% of the estimated vote in. As we follow these crucial undecided races, we are all already also getting closer to another poll closing. 4 more electoral votes are at stake for the next hour in the heat of the battle to reach 270. So every electoral vote counts. We're just minutes away from voting ending in the reliably blue state of Hawaii. Over to John King now at the Magic Wall. John.
So, Jake, a quick look. You just went through the numbers. Just want to look very quickly. These 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, will determine the fate of the Harris campaign, whether there's any chance she can come back. As we wait to see those results, I just want to show you something. Bring it up. Remember January 6th? Donald Trump was finished. Even Republicans were running away from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is done as a national politician. I want to show you something. This is Trump overperforming his 2020 performance by 3% or more. Right? This is a statewide look. We're not done with some of these counts out here. But this will change a little bit. But Donald Trump overperforming 2020 after January 6, 2021. That's the statewide look. Look at this. Just look at this when you go to full counties. Look at how many counties across America, 994 of the 4,000 plus, 4,600 plus counties and townships, especially up this way, part of the country, they don't call them counties, they call them townships. But in nearly 1,000, 993 right now. This will change as we go through. But Donald Trump is overperforming, and look at where they are. He's mostly performing in red areas. His vote is getting higher in the areas where he wins elections. Yes, there are some blue places where he's overperforming, but just look at battleground Pennsylvania. Look at all these red counties, places that Trump wins, where he's overperforming by 3% or more what he did in 2020. Then you come out here. Let's go up to battleground Michigan. These are the decisive states left on the board right now. Look at in the areas; those are his base areas. He's getting more. The same over here in battleground Wisconsin.
And it's showing.
The former president of the United States, given up for dead, Jake, after January 6, 2021, is running stronger now than he did in the last campaign.
All right, John King, thank you so much. Every electoral vote counts, and 4 more are on the line right now as polling places are about to close in Hawaii, and we project Kamala Harris will win the state of Hawaii with its 4 electoral votes. Not a surprise. Hawaii, a reliably Democratic vote. But that doesn't mean a pickup of 4 electoral votes for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has 230. He is 40 votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 169 electoral votes. She is 101 votes away from the 270.
Yeah, 169.
John King.
So, Jake, let's look at the map where we are right now, and then we'll go through some of these battleground states where we're still winning.
Harris just picked up Hawaii. She had 169. Trump 230. Trump is leading all of the battleground states right now. Still too early to call. Man. Oh, it's 12. It's midnight now. I might hang on another 30 minutes. See, do they call it? I want to burn on. I got hours for this StreamYard, but I mean, hell, we here. I got time. This is history making. And this is crazy. Because the maps I saw and the stats, so I'm saying that she will win was predicated on her keeping the states that Biden got, especially in the Midwest. And that ain't been the case so far. So they were saying men have come out to vote. And that's going to be a big thing you have to talk to, that men voices matter. And what you're talking about, do it benefit them? And if you're trying to become president and you are a woman, you're going to have to take account what they want. Because every presidential election is a group that felt like they weren't listened to. There was a white man vote in one of them elections, a recent, but they felt they wasn't heard. And they got out and voted in droves, big numbers. I think it was 2016 when Trump won. This one, it might be all men. And I do think all that finger pointing that Obama did, and Michelle telling people, how dare you? Oh, they gave her Virginia. She got that one. But she was winning that one. So now she had 182. The fact he done turned around Michigan and he is the numbers. Wow. Michigan has spoken. She was leading that most of the night. Most of the night she was leading Michigan. And these ain't no small. Wisconsin is bad deep. And they're gonna have some of these people on a lot of the liberal channels. They start discussing what went wrong. Well, definitely messaging. I mean, a black male vote. There were numbers showing that a lot of them were voting for Trump. This is why led to Obama folding his arm and pointing his fingers. Hey, you don't want to vote for her and all that. But a lot of black men felt, and I know I felt it. Okay, I voted for Obama twice. And I look back on it. Didn't do much. Yeah, you put some black judges in, this and that other, but they were attacking Asian people in New York. And right after President Biden, made a bill, anti-Asian hate bill. If you attack Asian Americans, you'll be treated like domestic terrorists. He calmed it down. And some say, well, they did somebody, but these are the type of things of you can't say Obama made a black people bill or executive order for black people, whatever it might be. Give every black person $5,000 every month for a year, just for example. You can't point to that bill that you did for us. And it left a lot of people with, don't come with identity politics, vote for you because you're black. So what? What is that doing for me? We did it for you, and you voted more for other groups than us. I mean, come on. You singing, rapping Eminem music, so? I mean, I know for me as a voter, it was more, what's your policies? And I don't care if she went to Howard, she AKA, you've been in the White House for 3 years, you ain't been running your mouth about all that. When she ran in 2020, she said the same stuff. I mean, I find it disingenuous at this point. You only talk that black talk when you want a black vote. But as long as you up in the White House or wherever you are politically, you ain't walking around talking that black talk. And I heard someone make a statement about hip hop, which I use different wording. People like to put on the black suit. I'm down for the culture. I'm down with y'all, but you take it off and go back and live your life. And that's how I look at VP Harris. You talking all this black talk, but another time you ain't talking that. And me, black people's whole, we need to be more stingy with our vote. You better make your bill for black people if we're gonna vote for you. Period. Well, I can't do that. That's a lie. They were attacking Asians in New York. You made a hate crime bill for it. I mean, stop it. You can do it if you want to. But you think you just got the black vote in the bag for a Democrat, so we ain't give you nothing. And as an independent, at times I lean to vote Democrat, lesser two evils. I feel like Stone Cold now. You give me, you flying me out, coach, treat me like a dog and expect me to smile. No, I ain't taking your scraps no more. If you ain't taking your ass to Washington to deal with stuff that affects me, my household, you're not getting my vote so easily. Same go for Republican. I wish there were better independent voter candidates I could vote for. Because don't tell me what I want to hear, like I'm some female that you're going to mistreat and going about your way. I thought we was going out to dinner tonight. Oh, I got busy. For example, that's how I come off with these Democrats. You talk all that good stuff and take out a 4-star meal, this and that, but when it's time to do it, oh, my schedule got jacked up. I do it. I get you on the back end. And that'll be the next 4 years later when they need my vote. No. We need to be more stingy with our vote as black people. It ain't no given we're going to be a Democrat. What are you doing for me? What opportunity you setting up that I get, so I have a fair opportunity to put the work in and get what I want? What laws are you putting into place where if you gun down a black person at a traffic stop and it's unjust, you get a death penalty. Damn life. Throw the harshest thing at them. You ain't doing that. You ain't going to treat me like a dog with your scraps and expect me to keep voting Democrat. That's how I feel looking at the Democratic Party as of right now. You keep giving me scraps, expecting me to be loyal. No. I damn sure ain't looking at Republican because you ain't talking to me. I ain't got enough money. So I know you ain't talking to me. And I'm independent that I'm tired of I have no good options at this point. Like right now, who would be the option for 28? Besides the grandparents. Because we got to do better than this. Who can come out with the messaging, this is my policy, domestic, foreign, this is how it's going to help you. Cool. I mean, right now, this is more rebuke of the last 3 years with the Biden-Harris administration that you got in, okay, took care of COVID, and when you saw people price gouging for food and gas, whatever, you did nothing to stop it. You gave me excuses. Oh, I couldn't do nothing because Joe was president. Well, y'all saying he was not fit to run again, so 25th Amendment says you're supposed to take power and be president. So why wasn't y'all on these people's neck? Fighting for the American people. Anybody say, well, Jeff, you got to look at it like, no, because when I started watching all the shows I watch and stuff on YouTube, I saw nothing but nonstop commercials of how I know they're gouging price for food and gas. You vote for me, I'm going to deal with them. That's the Harris campaign. I saw 24/7 like you try to brainwash me. So the fact you made a campaign saying that you are admitting these people are doing this and you allowed them for 3 years to do it, I got a problem with that. So like Trump campaign started to tell their messaging a little better near the end. Well, I'm going to do this and this for you. Y'all wasn't saying that at first. Don't pander to me. Make my life easier. You do that, I'm with you. And that's the problem. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Actually do something. But until black people as a whole start saying we ain't voting for nobody unless what we want, we see it. No, I said no. Now you signed it. It's implemented ASAP. I can touch it. Okay, then vote for him. I'm just getting here. Thanks for tuning in. Trump is at 230. Harris at 182. And the battleground states are too close to call right now. But as black people, we do need to make sure any party want our vote. What are we getting out this deal? I mean, numbers that say a lot of black men voted for Trump. They felt he was talking more what they want to hear financially. And all the videos you saw of attacking them or how dare you vote, that's not helping nothing. That's not the move. You a sellout if you vote for all that is not how you deal with a black man or a man. That's not the ticket to go. It should say something is very wrong with your messaging if they're not rocking with you. That's what that should say. And what do we need to do to make sure they feel what we say and the action will go hand in hand and get that vote? Because you did that, we voted for the black person in Obama, and no, I didn't see nothing I got. I mean, he took care of stuff when it happened, but other groups and interests got something. Don't cut to me your second go around saying Al Green for my vote, but you ain't making no bill for black people. And anybody say that can't be done, you're lying. They made an anti-hate Asian bill when they were attacking Asians in New York on the subway, walking down the street, whatever. People running up on them, punching them. They made that bill. You will be charged as a domestic terrorist. They stopped attacking Asian people. So don't say you can't do a bill. Something of interest to me. Now, I think these billionaires be voting Republican and the lobbyists, the money they fund them through, because I want you to make sure I got this energy bill. Make sure I get a good deal on that. Okay. Well, I'm doing farming. Whatever the case is, they getting something out of it, so they put that money behind it. That's when they treat our vote. What are you doing for us? Can I make some money off what you're going to do? Create generational wealth of mine? No, I ain't rock with you. Don't want your identity politics. We need more than that. We're not one thinking group. We're not monolithic like that. Like the Hispanic culture might vote Republican, Independent, and Democrat. Same with black people. We ain't all just gonna vote one way. Now you're starting to see a new trend where a lot of them are conservative, so they're voting Republican. But chastising them ain't going to change nothing. It's going to make them not rock with you even more. Man, that's a problem. You don't want to do that. And there's been a lot of videos I came across of them doing that. Well, you hate black women if you do this. Like, you're doing all this unnecessary stuff. Instead of asking, why don't you want to vote for this person? It's all right now, list down. Where can we talk to them on how we can meet them halfway? That makes more sense. Because if he get all these battleground states play out the way it's playing and Trump get them on, that's crazy. That's crazy. That shouldn't happen. And if his number is huge, how many men voted for Trump, black men especially, that's an indictment on the messaging of the Democratic Party. These are providers of families and household and not children. So you have an Obama shell waving their finger in their face, you better do better, is not the way to go. That comes off as desperate. You ain't gonna ask them what's wrong. What don't you like? Well, she ain't addressing A, B, C, D, E. Okay. And speaking on teleprompter was a problem with a lot of events. Y'all supposed to be able to have a rehearse what you're supposed to read, or have a better teleprompter worker to make sure you don't skip ahead and you lost. I seen some of them videos like, man, who running this organization? How you mess up on a teleprompter? Come on, Ray. It's my man. I would say, come on, Ray. You can't get a teleprompter right. They got to restart it for the person to read from it. Come on now. Karma ain't strong like that. I like y'all know what y'all doing. Come on. But there's going to be a lot of things to be discussed on if it play out and she don't win, and it's a huge loss. Why? And that's where all this feminism, all this other stuff, where you think men are not important, they're to be discarded. Pay attention to these people. Pay attention to them. Their husbands, fathers, providers, take care of homes and families. They have a voice too. And a lot of stuff you came across social media discarding them like they're a bunch of idiots. No, they're not. Like, cut it out. Their voices matter. Because lots of us saw was projecting that she would win in a big number. She'd keep a lot of states that Biden had. But they expected people to just come out in droves because they ain't seen no absentee ballot like they did last time. 100 million absentee ballots didn't go out. Well, they closed down like it was for COVID. This is similar to 2016. Are you out there working? You meeting with everybody? That's a good question. See what we were talking about now.
46 last time. Right. And again, within a battleground state, you think margins within the margins, the battlegrounds within the battleground. So, Joe Biden at 53% with 98,000 votes. The vice president at 50% with 93,000 votes. Now, we're not completely done there, but that 5,000 votes makes a big difference. It just does. Right. So and that's there. Right. So then you come out here and you come up. Let's just move on up. Right. Carbon County. Look at this. Trump getting 73% of the vote. He's improved. That's one of the places he's overperformed himself. And then you move up here. This is Lackawanna County, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown. It's a tough, competitive blue collar area, but 51 to 48 now.
Dang.
54 to 45.
And that movement of 4%.
Right.
They're voting Joe's in
Couple
Pennsylvania,
thousand
6
votes
million
here, a
votes.
couple thousand votes there. I want to show you
By
something
the way,
else.
can I just point out?
Erie has now flipped.
Erie, has always voted with the presidential victor in Pennsylvania and nationally, is now with
Has flipped. And let's see where the turnout is there. Again, it's one of the 25. They're at 95%. It's very close, but it's always very close. So you see Erie County, very close there. And I just want to come across the state, Northampton County. So you're on the, your Buffalo, New York border, and here's New Jersey here. You've got, 52 to 47 there. Not done yet, but the two multi-pivot counties. Twice for Obama, then for Trump, then for Biden. At the moment, they're going back to Trump. I just want to show one more thing we haven't shown tonight. I just want to bring this up and bring this out. It's not here. It is here. No, it is here. Sorry. I will figure this out eventually. I promise you. I just have too many gizmos. Just want to come in here. Come on. And show you this. So let's go out nationally first. Everyone's been talking all night long about the headwinds. There'll be a lot of questions asked about this after the fact. This is not a good environment for any incumbent. Kamala Harris is the incumbent vice president. What this shows you is not votes. This shows you the darker the county, the more that county has been hit by inflation. Meaning, the darker the county, the more cost of living, energy prices, gas prices, housing prices in a lot of places have outpaced wage increases. Right? Try to find me. See the green?
Yeah, what does that mean? That's
the county where your wages have outpaced inflation. You can use a hand. You will fill one hand in the more than 4,000 counties and towns in the United States. You use one hand to fill out the counties where wages have outpaced inflation.
So can I make two observations?
So I just want to come back into your comment.
He's working.
I want to come back to your comment. The darker the county, the more punishing, the more inflation has outpaced your wages, your cost of living. And just look. I mean, the fact that she's doing as well in the suburbs is a testament to the Democratic strength there. But you see in these other places, it's just that was the headwind. And that came up. I can tell you I was on the road for 15 months, and that came up from the first trip to the last trip, even for people voting for Harris, even for people gladly and proudly voting for Harris, were saying it still sucks when I go to the grocery store.
Yeah, and that's also why, the right track, wrong track numbers are 75% wrong track, 25, but the election's not 75%, 25, because there are people who think it's the wrong track, but they're still going to vote for the Democrat. Yet, this is difficult to fight against if you're the incumbent.
That's North Carolina, especially you're trying to win back.
Look at all the dark colors.
Man.
It gets worse as you go west. That's
It's
what I was
crazy.
gonna say. Then you're in Georgia. Look, this is the Atlanta suburbs, right? If she loses just a little tiny bit, right? And look down here. These are working class people, right? And then you're absolutely right. Then you come out here and you look at in Arizona. That's Maricopa County. That's the largest county. Up here, so you see Democratic areas.
He's winning Maricopa County.
This is big.
That's just let's see. Let's come up there. It's close. That one's close still at half and half as you bring that up. And then you come here. This to me, of all the visits, you want to talk a place that still has the COVID body bruise.
Yep.
Because unemployment hit 30%, twice the national average.
Tourism.
And then the cost of living. I mean, look at it right there. Where, again, the darker the county, the more, and out here it's housing more than anything. Housing in Vegas. A lot of people rent. There's not a lot of land to build new houses. So the rents go up. And once the COVID moratorium on rent increases went up, rents went up through the chutes. And a lot of the working class people out there complaining about that.
I wasn't done with Pennsylvania, but hold on, because Pamela. But no, go to Pennsylvania because Pamela's. I'm gonna throw it to Pamela. She has some information on Georgia. If you could, there you go, Pamela. What do you got for us in Georgia?
This is important information in Georgia. I'm getting from Gabriel Sterling, the top election official there. The margin right now in Georgia is 118,000 votes. Right?
Damn.
100,000 votes are outstanding right now. This is what I'm being told from Gabriel Sterling. Now, he says the split will go marginally for Harris. So let's break down what we know about where some of that outstanding vote is. Chatham, 40,000 outstanding, I'm told. This is a county that went to Biden in 2020. Carroll, outstanding, 18,000. This is a county that went to Trump in 2020. And then you have the blue counties of DeKalb and Fulton. DeKalb has 3,000 outstanding ballots. Fulton has 2,000 outstanding ballots. Again, just to recap, tight margin, 118,000, 100,000 votes still out in Georgia. And Gabriel Sterling says it's the split coming from that will be marginally, his prediction is for Harris. But this is what the data coming in is showing right now. Back to you.
John, do you have any questions for Pamela?
You say a total The total outstanding votes is 100,000?
He said 100,000 votes out. Yep.
Well,
and so I just gave you a little snapshot of where some of those places are. Chad and Carol, I asked, when are we going to find out these results from these counties? He did not have a timeline exactly for that, but hopefully soon.
But the significance, obviously, that Donald Trump right now has a margin of 118,838 votes, and you're saying there's 100,000 left.
If he's being literal, sometimes 100,000, they're getting calls from counties and they say 20,000.
It's interesting.
22,
right.
30,000, it could be 30,000.
Those are a lot of votes.
Can I just jump in?
Yes, please.
Actually, we asked about how do you know these numbers, and actually by law they have to have it, the actual numbers. So I understand your point, but I think they do have more precise numbers based on what the law requires.
Interesting.
Well, then if that math sends a shockwave through the Harris campaign.
Yeah.
If that is literal. Just even if she won them all, if there's 100,000 left,
right,
and she won them all, and she won't, he's 118,000.
Right. She said marginally for Harris, which means probably like 53-47 or something along those lines. Interesting. Well, we'll have the decision desk talk to the people in Georgia. Can I go back to Pennsylvania just for 1 second? I want to look at Philly for a second because it was so important. It's so important for every Democrat to drive up the margins here. Harris is with 78% reporting. Harris is at 78.1%. to Donald Trump's 20%. We've already talked about this. This is a better performance by Donald Trump than in 2020 and also in 2016.
So watch where he is, right? You can look at it either way. He was at 18%. Now he's above 20%. If we go all the way back in time, when he won the state, he was at 15%. The third-party candidates mattered a little bit there, more statewide than they did in Philadelphia, but a little bit. So you just track Donald Trump in Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia, 15%. And 108,000 votes in 2016.
Could be in all these battleground states.
18%, 132,000 votes in 2020. We're not quite done in 2024, but it's a lower vote count.
It's the margins.
Because we're not at 100 yet. It's down.
Yeah.
If he keeps that number, he's got that's going to pass the last one. Absolutely. The margins. Again, she's at 78%, and there are some places that are swing counties, and you're fighting to move them. When you're starting a plan to run for president, and you know how deep Trump's support is across Pennsylvania, you have to do it here. You just have, it's math. It's math. I mean, 30% of the state population lives right here.
Yep.
Right here. So if you're going to offset that, you just got to run it up. You just got to run it up here. And she's at 78%. He was at 81%. This will be the conversation. If this plays out the way it's going right now, this will be the conversation in the Democratic Party, is what's happening in urban America, both in terms of the numbers, the turnout, the math, and the percentages.
So I read this in an exit poll, and whoever is listening from the exit poll desk, Charlie, whoever, if I get this wrong or if there's been an updated number, please let me know. But it said black men in Pennsylvania in 2020, 10% went for Trump. In 2024, 25% went for Trump. Black men in Pennsylvania more than doubled for Trump.
But if that number's true, I mean, after every election, you have the conversation, right? After 2016, it was what's happening to Democrats. I mean, it was already happening, but Trump put on steroids the Democrats' problem with white working class people who work with their hands. And now I would say, take the white out of that. Take the white out of that.
It's just about working class people.
The gains among black men, the gains among Latino men are among people who work with their hands, who have been punished, the conversations that strike you for 15 months on the road is, I could afford a new car, but then if any prices go up, I can't take that loan. Like I cannot, but there's no way. So you're asking your mechanic, can I keep this thing on the road for a little bit longer? And your Christmas time, you're telling your kids you're getting one gift, not two. Or we were going to try to go to Disneyland, but we're not this year.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the amusement park, that's a couple hours away by car, but we're not going to Disneyland or some big thing like that. These are the conversations you're having in state after state after state with people who have working class jobs. And some of them, union auto workers, they think that's a good middle class job. Union auto workers who get the employee discount, who can get preferable financing, saying, I'm not going to take the risk to buy a new truck. I'm going to keep this older one on the road because I just can't do that on the family budget right now. Can't do it.
Yeah. Back to Caitlin Collins at Trump HQ in West Palm Beach, Florida. Caitlin, what are you learning right now about the former president's plans this evening?
Well, Jake, we have been waiting to hear whether or not he was actually going to come here to the convention center. And just
he didn't come out till they cleared.
Two separate parties happening right now. A watch party here where I am at the convention center in West Palm Beach, Florida. And then Donald Trump was also having an event at his Mar-a-Lago club surrounded by Republican allies, major donors, people like Elon Musk and RFK Jr. But we are now hearing
Tuning
from
in.
sources that Donald Trump is
These
making
most
plans
accurate.
to come over
Trump
here,
has
obviously,
230.
to prepare
Harris
the
has
motorcade
182.
for him to get in to take about a 10-minute drive.
And shocking all the key battleground states, Trump is. This is baffling. He's leading in all the major battleground states right now. It's crazy.
Team has been watching the breakdown here of how he's been doing with certain demographics and how he's improving from where his standing was actually in 2020, certainly in 2016.
Has huge numbers in a lot of these states. Crazy.
That was what they were seeing in internal polling. But of course, given what we were seeing and the people we were talking to on the ground, we had to wait and see how
He
it
turned
played out.
Michigan around. He's up
To what Donald Trump is
almost
doing
by 6
right now,
points.
because we were
Wow.
told that while he was over at Mar-a-Lago, essentially this was a watch
He was
party
losing
that
Michigan
dinner.
early.
They had giant screens, but the plan was always that if Donald Trump was going to come over, they were going to bring those members that were there at Mar-a-Lago over
Wow.
here. And I am told that currently those members are being bussed over here, meaning that Donald Trump's arrival is likely imminent. Now, all of those members are obviously going to have to be in place, as we've reported. It's kind of sparse here. There's not a lot of people. They're expecting over 100 people to be bussed over here. Those people are going to have to be in place before Donald Trump takes the stage, because these are going to be some of his biggest fans. They're going to want to fill the crowd here. But now they're coming over, so that gives you a little bit of a timeline of when we see Donald Trump moving from Mar-a-Lago to here. As we know, this room is about to fill up pretty quickly, probably within the next half hour.
Yeah, and of course the big question is what he's going to say. Obviously, he would come here likely and not take the stage. That's behind us. It's already a room that's filled with his supporters. We'll be waiting to see what they say. Jake, obviously something that we've been watching closely, as ever since a few hours ago when those Virginia numbers were coming in, that was what first gave that sense of confidence to the Trump campaign. And obviously that has only continued to grow ever since seeing the calls in North Carolina, how well these Republican Senate candidates are doing also, and those numbers there in Pennsylvania, Jake.
All right, Caitlin, thanks so much. As we prepare for what we think is going to happen, Mr. Trump coming out and speaking, it is a good moment for us to take a measure
This is
of where
huge.
the night is at this
He's
moment.
leading a
We're
lot of
still,
battleground
course, waiting
states right now.
Several of the battleground
They're
states,
waiting to call it,
6
though.
out of 7 of them. But Chris,
Uh-oh.
right now, I think it's fair to say anybody
They about to call another state.
would rather be Donald Trump than Kamala Harris at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if he declares victory, he hasn't won the race yet. There is still
No, he ain't gonna do that.
potential path to 270 electoral votes. None of the blue wall states have been called. If he says the trends are looking very good tonight, you can't argue with that.
And I'm going to go to Jake for a major projection.
That's right. We have another major projection for you now. And CNN can project that Georgia will go to Donald Trump. Georgia, a very
Yes, Georgia.
contested battleground of 16 electoral votes. This is the second of 7 battleground states that we have called, and both of them have been for Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what that means for the electoral math. Donald Trump right now has 246 electoral votes. Kamala Harris right now
24 votes away.
82 electoral votes. There are 270 needed to win. As of right now, CNN is not ready to project who is going to win the presidency, but I'm sorry for so rudely interrupting. Donald Trump has now been projected to have won the second.
Yeah, 246 now.
Battleground states.
Wow.
With 5 more to go. And obviously, the blue wall states, as you were saying, are crucial.
And this is a flip because in 2020, Joe Biden won. Now, despite the fact that Donald Trump tried really hard to find those 11.
He checked the other ones. So they got her at 194. The ABC News, but I ain't picked it there yet. Yeah, I'm at 246. What Channel 4 got it at? Oh, they way behind. They got it at 230 to 210. Yes. And some of these are already going off the board.
11,000 plus votes. They weren't there. And this time around, the projection that you just made is that they are there.
He's real close.
However many votes there are. So this is even more evidence.
Real close.
Why we heard the Harris campaign manager, Jen O'Malley-Dillon, say to reporters maybe an hour or two ago.
Take a break for a minute, I'll be back.
The Sun Belt is basically gone.
I'm back.
She's got to win Pennsylvania. If she doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's over.
Yeah, no, absolutely, especially with the fact that
she's losing all those states right now.
5 battleground states that we have not called. He is leading in all 5 of them. Nevada,
Yeah,
Arizona,
by big numbers.
And Pennsylvania. Donald Trump widening his lead in the race.
She was winning Michigan.
With this new win. In Georgia, ballots are, of course, still being counted in these crucial battlegrounds. We could get new reporting on votes at any time. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. We'll be right back.
I mean, the biggest thing to explain this, there's no pandemic. People got out and voted. Everybody didn't do absentee this time around. I'm trying to hang in there because I want to see what they call it. It's almost 1 in the morning. And you keep saying, well, she got to win Pennsylvania. She's losing all the battleground states, and they've been dropping the Trump. And there's no 50,000 or 100 million absentee ballot votes that are out there for her to get. They didn't anticipate this. Last of I saw had her winning. But she was keeping most of the states Biden got, and those states have been flipping. She was winning Michigan most of the night. And the more they kept counting, that state flipped to Trump, to where he has a big number in the state. Right now, he has 63,181,456 votes to her 58,329,803 votes. He's even leading in that. Now, normally they would have called this already, but because all the talk of stealing elections and all that, they count everything. And like most states count the absentee stuff early. So I think it's 19 or 15 for Pennsylvania. data putting right there. He just needs 2 of the battleground states and it's done. That's where we at with it. And it'll be done. It's crazy. This is crazy. I need some food.
Let us go and look at where they are. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump in the lead with 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 48.1% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 165,000 vote lead. Let's go to Kamala Harris headquarters right now. Let's listen in.
Good evening, HU. I want to say good evening to all of the Harris campaign, the campaign family. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the promise of America. We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all.
Cedric Richmond, top advisor to Kamala Harris, used to be top advisor to Joe Biden in the White House, basically telling people at Howard University, where Vice President Kamala Harris was going to have her celebration party, theoretically, that Kamala Harris is not going to come out tonight. She will come out tomorrow and address the nation, which I guess is what we could expect, given the fact that we're not going to know definitively this evening the results.
Into Howard University when there's a big crowd, that is not the sound of a big crowd there. That is not celebratory mood, and I think that was a tough kind of coming out conversation for Cedric Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 2024 version of the Javits Center at this time. I'm not saying that it's going to end that way, but at this time, it's feeling like it's too early, and the senior person comes out and says, everybody go home and we'll see what happens, and we will see what happens when we get the rest of the votes. But
in the immortal words of Bob Dylan, you don't have to be a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing.
Right.
And this very much felt, I mean, we talked before about whether this felt more like 2020 or 2016. This felt so much
that
like
sounded more like we don't think it's going to go our way, so y'all can go home.
Podesta came out at almost exactly this same point 8 years ago and made it almost exactly that same speech. And the next day, Hillary Clinton came out and conceded. Now, again, he is not at 270 yet. She has not lost this race, but you don't have to be a weatherman.
Right.
She's losing all the battleground states, and there's no absentee ballots out there to be counted like that.
Projected that Donald Trump will
There's no COVID.
2 of them, North Carolina and Georgia. So of the 5 that are remaining, there's Arizona. Trump is in the lead currently with 0.72% of the vote. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is in the lead with 2.6% of the vote. Wisconsin, Donald Trump is in the lead by 3.53% of the vote. And then there's Michigan. Donald Trump is in the lead with 6.12% of the vote. There's also Nevada, which I don't see on that list there, and I haven't committed it to memory, but there wasn't enough
really percentage of the vote that had come in yet for us to be.
And see, right now you're being nice with all these percentages instead of just saying in all the key battleground states, Trump has more than 10,000 vote lead. That's why her person came out to say VP Harris not speaking tonight. Everybody can leave Howard. I mean, it's a nice way of saying the fight ain't over. But in most of these states, she's losing by over 10,000 votes. And there's no COVID this time. There's no 100 million absentee ballot votes out there to turn all this around like it did for Biden. These are hard numbers of who actually went to the polls and how many absentee ballots was out there. And they counted a lot of them early. And them numbers might not be that big this time. So they got people out to go vote. And there's a lot of red across the country in all these polling stations that voted. And the big number they talking about are men. But they try to be fair to both parties. So I'm saying I'm going to shut this down in a minute because y'all might be taking all night to call it. Some of these states, y'all know y'all probably need to call. Y'all just want to wait.
The polling, and for the longest time, including up until last night, I and others said we had notions, we had feelings, but we weren't going to make any predictions. And the truth is we're sitting here tonight and we're waiting for the 3 states that can determine the race one way or the other to render a verdict, and they're close. And she's right to wait to have those votes counted. But what was very clear watching the night unfold is that rural areas voted for her in significantly less numbers than, or percentage-wise, than they did for Joe Biden 4 years ago. And she could make up the difference in some of these suburban areas. And the cities. And I think the discussion that John King had was very pertinent. I care deeply, more than I can say tonight, about democracy and what it means. I've said it a million times, I'm the son of a refugee, and I revere this country, and I'm so grateful for what it's given my family and everyone else. But part of democracy, and this is my major difference with Donald Trump, part of a democracy is to honor the will of the people, to honor its institutions. And I imagine that that's what the vice president's going to do when the final verdict comes in, if it's not a positive verdict. And I think there is a message in that. There is a message in that. And I think it's an important message.
I think the reality is Kamala Harris faced tremendous headwinds heading into this. I was riding on a bit of a vibe, in a sense, in the final stretch because she did feel like she had energy. But the fundamentals have been against her from the outset. Biden's unpopularity was dragging her. She had opportunities to create distance with him, and I think chose not to. I think it's a respectful thing. You don't want to throw your boss under the bus. But the reality is Donald Trump was going to blow Joe Biden out of the water, and she needed to create that distance. There's also just some fundamental shifts that I think are happening, a realignment with the parties and within the country, and I think we need to be more in tune with them. This could end up being the most diverse coalition that ends up possibly electing Donald Trump, and we need to hear about why that is. It's the issues of the borders.
The way this is playing out tonight, right? I think we need to recognize that over half of America feels very strongly about the things that Donald Trump feels strongly about, right? A secure border, the economy, crime. They might not be a perfect messenger, but the message resonates. And what we talked about this earlier about the check engine light, all those things are real. Democracy is a luxury when you can't pay your bills. And I think, there are a great deal of Americans tonight who are sitting back and saying, kind of looking at everyone, that they view as the elite and kind of sneering and saying, we told you so. We're not garbage. We're hardworking people. We believe in these things, right? People don't like to be talked down to. This coalition, this is Hispanics. Trump is crushing in Hispanics, the Hispanic vote in Pennsylvania, right? He's getting 50% of the women.
Lehigh County, he's up.
50% of the women vote. Wow.
2020, he was at 45%. He's now at 48%.
Allentown is. We were talking about how the Puerto Ricans are coming out. He's winning those votes because you know what those people care about? They care about security. They care about economy. They care about those things around the kitchen table. So if the former president is going to be the next president, I think there's a lot of America's going to have to sit back. He's going to win. Looks like he may win the popular vote, right? There's going to be a reckoning in America. The people are going to have to sit back and say maybe some of these things Trump's espousing are not crazy. Maybe he's right. Maybe the Democratic Party needs to come back to the center if they want to be competitive again. There's going to be a part where they're going to say we need to go further to the left.
Ben, I hear what you're saying, and I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite who are hurting tonight.
Here go this guy.
There are African American women who know a little bit about being talked down to, and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they were facing rejection. And that hurts. They thought tomorrow morning they're going to walk out with their shoulders back a little bit, maybe able to breathe for the first time.
Man, he need to go somewhere. Van Jones need to go somewhere. I'm sorry, people. Do Harris have some black in her gene pool? Yes, she do. I've seen her more than once identify as Indian Asian. That's what pissed a lot of people off. Like, you ain't gonna walk around claiming you're a black woman, all this. You did it in 2020 election when you was running. Then you were on Indian cuisine cooking shows and all this other stuff for Asian heritage. And now you were put in place to run. And now you the black homegirl, AKA from Howard. A lot of that tuned a lot of people off as being disingenuous. Because you ain't been saying that rhetoric all this time. Only when you need our votes, you're that black suit you put on. Now you the sister homegirl. And that tuned a lot of people off. Because you ain't been saying that all this time. So him getting up here saying so many people. Get a real one up there. It's a lot of great candidates that are actually black women that all day is sister girl. Because you love who you love. But a lot of people looking at you married a Jewish white man. So how you scream you're a black woman and you marry a black man? A lot of people and stuff I looked at were tuned out to that messaging. Like, don't come with identity politics this time around like you Obama part 2. He is part black. You just started saying that. And we just supposed to get on board when I'm not going to go with the elitists talking down to people because they're Democrat. I don't buy that narrative either. But there was a narrative that a lot of people cared about the border, provide for their family, because through Harris' own commercials of late, companies are price gouging with food and gas. You made commercials saying you're going to go after these people. You're acknowledging they've been doing this. That's a problem. And a lot of people that resonated, that voted for him, and these numbers are huge across the board. And black men have their own things, what they were looking at. And for Obama to wave his finger in their face, Michelle, all the videos online, how dare you not vote for this person? You're gonna have to sit up here if this dude pull this off and this. I mean, you might not like him, but he works. It resonates to see him go and pull garbage with everybody. In the 90s, Bill Clinton did stuff like that. You go back. I relate to you. People felt like they related to him. I mean, it's a lot of things that were done that were missteps. I mean, I put it as, and this where Obama lost me. You sat up here and said, let's have an open convention because you didn't think she could win. But because of the laws that Democrats changed, you still had stupid amount of money going to these campaigns. If your name is not on the ticket for president, you don't have access to the campaign money. So if it would have been an open election and two other people would have got the nod to run, they would have had to refund things with $400 million in campaign money that Biden and Harris had got. They would have had to refund all that money and ask for it back for the new ticket. The likelihood of people bringing it back they ain't gonna do it. We gave you money already. So the problem became, oh, we ain't got no problem because she's already on the ticket. She has access to the $400 million. Just move her up and get her someone to run with. Cool. And they had to get him on board with it. Because he wasn't. He wasn't out there campaigning for her, really. He just started campaigning for her. But in that messaging of talking down to black men was a problem. A lot of people felt we didn't pick you. We picked him. They ain't like that. It's a lot of missteps along the way in this thing that a lot of people didn't like. And as my man said, he ain't the perfect measure, but he was saying things that resonated to a lot of people because Michigan she had control of that most of the night, and that thing flipped. They gave her New Mexico. Let me add that up. Change that one. Makes sense. So she had 187 or 246. But these are some of the issues and problems that I've been watching people on YouTube content creators talk about. Even liberals saying your messaging is not working if a lot of black men say gonna vote for Trump. You're not talking to them. What they care about, you ain't concerned about. That's a problem. And that's going to be the reckoning. If he win the popular vote and all these battleground states flip red, like, dude, he wasn't too crazy what he was talking about. A lot of people agree with him. And that's a problem. What you going to do about that? I mean, but because there's no COVID, there's no 20, 100 million absentee ballot votes that are out there to be counted. I don't see how she's going to flip all them states where she's losing with 10,000 plus votes. I'll probably get off here shortly, but I'm expecting they probably may call him president before 8 o'clock in the morning. Because everybody could go to the polls this time around. There's no, all these millions some voted prior. Over 3 million people voted in Michigan. And he's leading the state almost by 5 to 6%. That's a hell of a turnaround. And none of them would have been called president, but because of all the talk, they're going to steal it again. And they're making sure they're counting everything. And there's no 100-some million votes. That's my narrative. That say to Biden, and he wound up winning by the weekend. There is no 100 million absentee ballot votes out there to be counted. So I don't expect his numbers to switch. Because even in the counties that's still counting, it's a lot of red they're still counting too. That she going to gain votes, he gaining votes. And again, these are like over 10,000 votes that he has to lead. There's not no, it's a 1,000 or 500. It ain't that close. These double digit. There's almost 20-some thousand in Pennsylvania. And they're saying that she can't lose that one. And I think that's what, 19 votes?
The map once and for all. It's improbable at the moment. Let's just be honest about it, but it's not impossible. So you keep it on the board right there and you look 78% though. 78% estimated in Philadelphia. She's at 78%. Look at the 484. You come back here, 78% to 81%. 3 points in the state's largest city that is absolutely fundamental to Democratic victory, underperforming Joe Biden by 3 percentage points. And at the moment, more than 100,000 votes. We're not done with the math yet. That's it. I mean, you can find other places too. You can find, we looked through some of the blue collar counties earlier where she was underperforming Biden and Trump was moving up. We can come back and look at that again if you want. Just Trump outperforming 2020 by 3% or more. This is significant. It's happening mostly in counties he's winning anyway. But she's overperformed a little bit in Chester County down there, which, again, 8-10 years ago was a Republican county. But
looks like more people that voted for Trump got out and voted.
Currently flipped to red. But a lot of it's out here in places where Donald Trump already runs strong. He's running stronger. And that's critical. One of the questions coming into the campaign was, well, Donald Trump got 2016 phenomenon, more votes in 2020, but he lost. Are there really more Trump voters out there? Well, yes, apparently there are. And you see them right there. And you see them in other states as well. So there's Pennsylvania, Jake. I just want to go through these quickly to see if the math has changed. 63%. We've been stuck there for a little bit. You come down here. Again, when you're looking at 224,000 votes, Joe Biden won Michigan by 154,000 votes. Donald Trump's at 224,000 votes. And so you're looking and you're saying, where? Is it possible?
20,000 votes. He leading in Michigan.
That many votes is Wayne County. They're at 24%. So you see, she's at 58% right there. Donald Trump at 39%. Again, you want the conversation that is going to start once these states are called, assuming we stay on the trajectory we are on, which the trajectory we are on, not there, we're not the finish line, but the trajectory we are on is an overwhelming Donald Trump victory in the Electoral College. The possibility of flipping back all 3 blue wall states, but even if he loses Michigan, look at that. That's going to be a conversation in the Democratic Party. How's that happening? How is Donald Trump getting 30% in up to 39%? How's that happen? How did he get 30%? The Democrats were already debating how did he get 30% 4 years ago.
He jumped to 39%.
That number holds. Donald Trump's above 35%, close to 40% in Wayne County, Michigan.
That's huge.
The Democratic Party has a big conversation on its hand. When I started doing this a very long time ago, it was about the Reagan Democrats in Macomb County. Now it's going to be about the Trump Democrats everywhere. Including black men in Wayne County. There'll be people saying it's the Arab American vote. Young voters didn't come out.
Black men are voting in huge Trump for Trump.
We're done getting someone to 270, but that's a huge.
They don't have to deal with why.
Again, the foundation of the Democratic Party is urban America, and then the close-in suburbs. That's where the math is, and that has allowed Democrats, allowed Joe Biden to withstand all of that. Donald Trump's phenomenon.
But most of Michigan
for
is
America,
red,
not only
it's
winning those
conservative.
counties, but the math is up, and this
But
time again, he
the
turned
numbers
out
ain't there
votes.
for her.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Milwaukee County, the city and the suburbs around it.
And this is
Vice
huge.
President's at 66%. That was impressive, except when you go back 4 years ago and you see the President of the United States was at 69%. And so in place after place, especially starting in the foundations, Anderson, the building blocks of the Democratic Party, which is urban America, she's having a problem. We're not done with all the vote counting yet, but she's underperforming President Biden.
And all those trash they were talking about, his people weren't coming out to his thing, but people say, nah, there's a lot of people out there. They got the messaging out. We need to get to the polls and overrun them with voting. Ain't no 100,000 million absentee votes like 4 years ago. It's just straight up, do we get our people out to vote compared to them? And from looking at the polling and the numbers, they went out to vote. Even all the stuff they're still counting across the battleground states, you still see a lot of red dots of votes for him. And a lot of these states, he is winning by big numbers. I'm shocked because stuff I was looking at was saying, oh, she's going to keep most of the Biden stuff and she's going to win. And that's not the case. It's not the case at all. Not the case at all. And then when you watch a lot of people on YouTube or other outlets of media talking, economy, inflation, illegal immigrants coming over here and you giving them everything were problem points. Big problem points. It didn't help you had the hurricanes come in and hit Florida areas, and you saying you ain't got no money but $750 for the American citizens, and they're getting on TV saying you got money to help people that are not American citizens, and I can't get no help, and I pay my taxes, and I just lost everything. That resonated. We're seeing it now that it did. Like, wait a minute, how y'all helping people, and they wasn't Johnny on the spot to help? Trump came down there, utilized all his friends. People brought trucks with food, water. That resonated. People I know went down there to help people chop down trees and help. American citizens, Trump people and non-Trump people went down there to help these people. That was a bad look when they started adding all this stuff up on why it looked the way it looked. Why you as a sitting vice president running for president went down there from day one trying to help these people? Trump went down there. He leveraged his friendships to bring food, whatever he could to help. That resonated with people to see that imagery. And to see fellow Americans, and even, let's say they were Trump supporters going down there and help these people. Don't think they have a conversation just like a good Christian trying to win someone to Christ. Well, who you vote for? I'm voting for Trump. Like, you vote for Trump? I thought y'all were crazy people. Nah, I'm an American citizen. I be helping my people. Woo, woo. This one I vote for him. They like, well, he did come down here and help me, and you help him. Maybe I should look at this thing differently. A lot of bad optics. I don't know who that campaign person is, but a lot of bad optics. It come off like head of the state. I'm VP Harris, Beyonce, my cousin. I went to Howard. I'm AKA and vote for me. Because she ain't a war hero, so I can't say that. But that's how I come off. Like, I got it in the bag. That was Hillary thing. You ain't got it in the bag. You got to go work. You saw this dude picking up garbage. Bill Clinton did that. So I'm one of you. Uh-oh. Yep. Republicans got control of the Senate. If they don't lose the House, they have control of Congress. Which is not shocking, because Democrats get control of Congress, they don't do nothing with it. And they had it under Obama and under Biden, did nothing with it. Went to business for themselves. What they got to say about it?
Republicans this time around, and a very bad map for Democrats. One of the questions was whether or not these kind of brand name, long-serving Democrats would be able to kind of outperform the realities of their states, whether it's John Tester in Montana or Sherrod Brown in Ohio. And the answer is no.
Yeah, Sherrod Brown is a great example because he came to office in 2006 during a kind of blue wave, survived 2018. Like, he was always there for when it was more favorable for Democrats, and that was not this year.
I mean, let's talk about the significance of a Republican Senate if, and I repeat, if Donald Trump is elected president. It means that they can confirm without any Democratic votes any appointment he makes to his cabinet, to the government, to the Supreme Court. Should there be a vacancy? It's an enormous advantage to a president. And at this point, we haven't talked about it much, but in the House, although that hasn't been decided yet, the Republicans have flipped 3 Democratic seats. The Democrats haven't flipped a single Republican seat. So there is the possibility here of a complete, united Republican government with Donald Trump as the president and with a Republican House and Senate, which means that in terms of appointments, in terms of immigration policy, economic policy, environmental policy, you name it, he could have a pretty blank check.
So, for example, on immigration policy, which is something that we think that Donald Trump would, if he wins, want to enact something along the lines of the proposals he's made. Republicans have said, we passed an immigration bill, H.R. 2, which was a tough, it wasn't a compromise package. It was a tough immigration bill. It was H.R. 2.
He's talking about the House.
Sorry, the House version is what I'm saying. The Senate version was bipartisan. The House version, when you ask Speaker Johnson, what have you accomplished? He said, well, we passed all this legislation, but it just died in the Senate because Chuck Schumer wouldn't even allow a vote on it. Assuming that Republicans hold on to the House, we have no idea, but it's not crazy.
But you're getting into a level of detail that I think,
my point is just that
Donald Trump campaigned on mass deportations. So this
what I'm saying is he could do
was for.
That's what I'm saying. My point is whatever Donald Trump wants, if they have the Senate now, if they get the White House and if they get the House, if they keep the House, whatever Donald Trump wants will become law. There will not be the backstop of the Senate controlled by Democrats.
Did not want the backstop. This is what I'm trying to say. We may be looking at a map of voters who weren't looking to give him a backstop.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not to get too sort of dorky here, but I think it is still possible, if he is president, that some big pieces of legislation could be stopped in the United States Senate, because legislation at this point still needs 60 votes. But it is the cabinet who he's going to have in his, not just in and around his administration, but again, the bench, that is all regular majority.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about it, because that the Supreme Court they ruled on the Chevron deference and basically said executive agencies can't have the untrammeled authority to do what they want. It has to be passed by Congress. And you could end up with the Democratic minority. I mean, again, all of this is somewhat speculative. Democratic minority in the Senate being able to block legislation, and the Trump agencies not able to enact it on their own.
Yeah, just one of many things that we would be talking about if Donald Trump does, in fact, win.
Do your job. Help the people. No matter the party. That's the problem we got already with this thing. We're so divided. No matter who's in power, do your job, help the people. Nobody wants to do that. That creates the problem. Yeah, he's about 20-some thousand votes in Michigan. Wow. This is wild, boy. This is wild. Now, what they got it at? What this one got it at? They ain't called the 9 votes. They got it at 194 or 210, which Channel 4 has it as. If he hold with Michigan and Wisconsin, it's a wrap. With Michigan, Pennsylvania, it's a wrap. But he leading in all of them though. That's the ticket. He leading all those states. Well, it does look like they're not gonna call it tonight. I've been on here for 3 hours so far. Yeah, he gonna address people shortly, but they don't count everything. So far as it stands, Trump's at 246. I do want to do it till they call it, but it takes forever to call. Some of the states where he up like 20-some thousand votes. Ain't no votes to be found if he up damn about 200-some thousand. Y'all know that. But because all the stuff said about cheating, gonna count every vote. Because him leading these states like he lead now, they would have called all them states before. But this is wild, man. Well, she got 60 million votes now to 65 million. A lot of people voted. That's a good thing to see. Yeah, right now y'all just going in circles. All right. I'll probably get on here maybe tomorrow, talk about it for a minute. About who won. Because it is crazy. A lot of people voted, which is awesome. And just bringing a lot of questions too. I do think a woman will become president one day. She gotta be the right person though. That's the real key. Are you authentic? That's the, because a lot of people have been saying they don't feel she's authentic. Now, Hillary was the most qualified First Lady, Senator, Secretary of State, but women couldn't stand her. And so far they say he got like 50-some% of the women vote. It says something that can't be overlooked. That they ain't rocking with it. That's all it's saying. I mean, there's a lot of things being said in this election right now. A lot of things being said. That has to be taken into account. And you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work. That's the biggest thing of all of that I see. You're going to have to work. Okay, Thursday play. Appreciate that. And that's where it's looking like 2016 all over again. He outworked her. However you want to look at it, he outworked her. Yeah. That's what it come down to. But it's been the first on election night to be doing this. Trump's going to address his supporters soon. It still ain't called nothing else yet. I need to get some chow in my system. But in the battleground states that are left, Trump is leading in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada. Harris is leading in Minnesota. And he's leading by over 10,000 votes. My narrative for this election, you had 100 million absentee ballots because of COVID. That helped Biden win. This is just straight up, did you get your messaging out and your people got out there and vote? Okay, there's not no absentee votes coming from nowhere. He's doing final counts. So, hope you enjoyed the voting process. One day there will be a woman president, I do believe. Well, it's looking, it might not be this year, but she gonna have to grind. And she gonna have to talk to every demographic on their level what they needs are and not overlook them. So they're gonna bring back the Obama and the Michelle finger waving it all that's gonna come back into play if these numbers don't change, he's announced the next president. Men matter too in voting. And a lot of the people discount them. Well, you should leave your husband, all this craziness. Well, they have what they want to. Every group. So if y'all have a blessed, safe night. It's been the Middle Ground, JLE. Special election coverage for 2024. They still count votes. Probably before 8 o'clock in the morning, they announce who the new president is. But I might wait 9 minutes, just do 4 hours straight just to see. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to get off and they say, oh, new president. Like, I just got off this thing. What? But it keeps saying she can't lose Pennsylvania. That's what, 19 votes, I believe. That would put him at 265. Be real hard. But he's leading all of the battleground states. So that it's hard already. I'm trying to figure out what I want to eat. I got raccoons for fruit. I got some soup. I don't know. Figure out something. And if you don't know, Democrats have taken back the Senate. They're close to keeping the House, so they may have control of Washington come January 20th, 25. Now, this is where I would say Democrats need to take notes. Because under Biden and Obama, they had control of Congress, and Democrats went into business for themselves. They wouldn't pass nothing through out of fear they would lose their seat. Ooh. And that's a problem. Supposed to be there for the people. That's where everybody supposed to be there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to call it. Because they're not calling it yet. They still waiting. Y'all have a great night. A great morning. Let me find the brand.